computer buffers. I think we're live. Let me check. Because YouTube won't load because my computer is slow. Yes, we are live. Okay, what's up, everybody? Today, I would like to start with introducing my two awesome guests. Abel Garcia, who is a male to female to male detransitioner and a strong opponent of the left, and the man who owns more firearms than the entire left combined therapy range. So,
wow,
how's it going, guys?
Giving me a lot more credit than I deserve.
Well, so far so good. I just need to shop alcohol after all these articles, to be fair, and Twitter.
Yeah, it's only going to get worse. So today we're going to be going through some of the absolute meltdown over the Supreme Court case, which just came out as of the time of this video. And we're also going to go through the text of the just utter BS gun control that's coming down from the Senate. I made a video about that last night, but I posted it rather late, so I understand if nobody who's watching this has seen that. So don't worry, we're going to go through the original text, which I covered in that video, and we're going to go through the Senate text, which was the updated version of that. But before we go through that, let me check, see if comments are working. Okay, see if that shows up on StreamYard. There's always a little bit of a delay.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of snapback on your audio.
Let me see if I can fix that.
It might just be on my end. I don't know. Out here in rural America, we don't necessarily have good internet.
Yeah, so let me ping this on Discord so we can really get some people in here, and then we'll start going through the text of some of these heinous bills.
Never mind me. I'm just cleaning my gun.
Go ahead. I think we should save the leftist meltdown for the end. You know, kind of the grand finale. What do you guys think?
It's your party.
Okay.
I'm just promoting this real quick. Should have done that earlier.
No, it's fine. I always make this mistake with live streams, and then I get to them again, and it's like I should promote these things in advance, but by the time I have everything nailed down, it's like we're already starting.
Am I following you on? Yeah, I am.
Send this to a couple different channels, and then that'll hopefully drum up some bit of an audience.
I'm gonna post this on YouTube as well.
Okay. Hey Abel, why don't you put the link to this stream out on Twitter and see if we get any harebrained.
I already did.
Okay, all right. You're ahead of me then.
Yeah.
Therapy, I would show off some of my stuff, but I'm in California, so technically it's not legal.
I'm just reassembling the old Kel-Tec right now.
I don't think you can show firearms on
years. Like, did you see the P50?
I was gonna say, I don't think you can show firearms live on YouTube, but I could be wrong.
No, you can. There's been plenty of people who do it, and plus, we're on a live stream on a channel with 149 subscribers. Do you think YouTube's going to care?
It's
They've got bigger fish to fry, especially right now.
They usually like going after a small.
He's technically he is correct. The YouTube policy is that you're not supposed to be handling firearms while on a YouTube live. But, you know, I don't necessarily follow the rules any other time. So why would I start today?
Yeah, I've already had a video taken down on this channel for medical misinformation. So the hell if I care.
All right.
Here, I'll just hold it down to where the Karens of the world can't see it.
Axo, I think that's an automatic demonetization usually if it's a big enough channel. Well, the beauty of that is that I don't matter at all.
That's not fair. You matter to us.
That's true. I'm special. All right, I think we should be getting a few more viewers now, it looks like. So yeah, if people join, that's fine. Otherwise, the replay of this will still be available whenever they get around to watching it. So I think... So first big news that I guess we should go talk through is the fact that the Senate is now voting on a bill which is a cut down version of a House bill, which essentially all that remains from that House bill are red flag laws and boosted gun security measures, which are bad, but I mean it wasn't the worst part of that bill. So let me see if I can share my screen. Yeah.
Am I lagging?
Okay, so this is the original House bill that got passed. I went over this on my video that I posted last night, but again, I don't fault anybody if they haven't watched that. So this is HR 7910. It would have been the worst gun control act since the NFA. And this is usually the problem that we run across whenever there's a tragedy and politicians try to legislate on a tragedy, is that it's rushed, it's right before an election, they don't know what to put in there, they don't put anything good in there, and you end up with something like this. So without taking too long on each part of this, Title I was raising the minimum age to buy any kind of semi-automatic centerfire rifle or shotgun to the age of 21, unless you were a federal officer or law enforcement or military. So that's already bad. Title II is a red herring and is one of the two parts of this that made it into the new bill, because like there's all of the stuff that's in here already exists, and it's not like Constitution violating. It's just basically don't be an idiot with a gun. Title
Wait, correct me if I'm wrong.
Firearms.
Wasn't one of the? Doesn't it have making a straw purchases illegal?
Yeah, but I mean that was already illegal. Actually, fun fact: if you go through the 4473 form that got leaked on the internet for Hunter Biden's purchase of a gun, he committed a straw purchase with that.
Why am I not surprised?
He literally lied on a 4473 form and violated what's being said in this provision. But will he ever face justice for it? No.
Well, I was also, and the reason I brought that up is, are they going to charge the ATF because they have a history of straw purchasing? Fast and Furious, the main one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they'll always get a pass because they're a federal agency and they work for the left. That's just the sad reality of the country we live in right now. But yeah, Fast and Furious, for everybody in the chat who doesn't know what that was, look it up. It's one of the worst stains on the ATF as an agency.
I thought the worst one was murdering children in a fire.
That's the worst. It's like the three big ones that everybody should know: Waco, Ruby Ridge, and Fast and Furious. There have been other bad ones, but like those are the three worst ones. So Title III, untraceable firearms. This applies to unserialized receivers, ghost guns, 3D printed firearms,
Anything that's
or
considered 80%.
80%. Yeah, uh, this is just basically saying you can't do that anymore, which is totally unconstitutional. This got cut from the Senate bill, which thank God, because this has always been a constitutional right. I mean, go back to 1776 and look at the weapons that the militia were using and that the British were using too. Try and find a serial number on any one of those guns. Like, show me a serial number from those guns. They didn't have them. So the fact that we need to serialize all of this is complete BS and is an infraction of the Constitution. And then Title IV, safe storage. This
You
is
know what I just noticed? I'm reading this, and for the house, on let's see, it's subsection B for the first part. Any semi-automatic centerfire or semi-automatic centerfire shotgun that has or the capacity to accept a ammunition feeding device with a capacity exceeding 5 rounds. That's odd because every other state is usually 10 rounds.
well, and even later in this bill in Section 6, it's like they ban anything over 15 rounds. So it's legal inconsistency after legal inconsistency. But I mean, what do you expect out of leftist clerks who don't know nor care for the law?
I don't expect much from them.
Yeah, no. I mean, they're just out to take people's rights and give more power to the government. Oh, I should say one more thing that Title III does is it gives even more power to the FBI and the ATF, which at the moment are both rogue agencies that have way too much power already. It's just giving even more power to them to regulate basically anything they want. So again, really good that this was cut from the Senate bill because that would have been terrible. And then Title IV is safe storage. I outlined a scenario in my last video about what would happen under this, but basically the gist of it is, say somebody breaks into your house in the middle of the night, right? And they shoot the adults who are in the house, and a kid gets access to one of the firearms that's in the house and shoots the criminal, right? Well, guess what? They can put the parents away for up to 5 years and charge that child as an adult with murder under this.
Why am I not surprised?
It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. It's protecting criminals is what it is.
So they're protecting themselves.
Yes, yeah, basically. Oh, and of course, none of this applies to federal agents. That's the one thing that's very consistent across this bill is that none of this applies to federal agents. Nothing. Title V, closing the bump stock loophole. It doesn't close anything. It just makes stuff harder to get. For those who are unfamiliar with what a bump stock is, it's a device that you can mount on the back of an AR style weapon where when the gun fires, it generates recoil, and the stock uses that to reset the trigger, which is a semi-automatic function because you don't need to do that in full auto, and then use the blowback of the gun to bump the trigger again with your finger. So it essentially fires at the rate of full auto, but it's resetting the trigger like a semi-automatic has to. So that's what a bump stock is.
I will also add, technically it makes no difference because people can bump fire just by holding it to the...
Oh, yeah. You could get, like, if you hold the side of your belt and you hold the trigger down, you can totally bump fire and make it go full
As
auto.
long as you have the stock to your side and you're holding onto it right, you can bump fire.
Yeah, it's not hard to do. I mean, you're not going to hit anything with it, but you can do it. You don't need any kind of device to do it. And another thing that by extension, this is also, they say banning, but actually it's regulating. are forced reset triggers, which do the same thing, but they eliminate the stock part. It's just the trigger does the same function. The battle for those is very much still active in courts. So this is the legislature acting on something that's already in a different part of the government's jurisdiction. So that's bad. And again, this is just giving the ATF more power than it ever should have had.
And I will add, for those who aren't aware about what an FRT trigger is, it's not full auto. It mimics it, and they have shown it on videos for the company that created it. You're still pulling the trigger each time,
right?
Even though the ATF says otherwise.
Well, I mean, the ATF classifies a shoelace and a zip tie as a machine gun. That's all you need to know. They classify a coat hanger as a machine gun.
Wait a minute. So here's a terrible joke that's revolved about abortion. So if a woman has a coat hanger and she's using it, does that make it a machine gun that she's using? I'll leave. I'll leave.
Get out of here. All right, and then we get to Section 6, which is the Democrats' favorite part of this bill, and coincidentally the first that was shot down in compromises in the Senate, as if there ever could be anything like a compromise when it comes to the Second Amendment. This is the mag ban part. What this does is it's banning any kind of ammunition or large capacity feeding device that has the ability to accept over 15 rounds and anything over 22. It's basically banning almost every single round in the United States, popular or not, especially like what I have here, which is one of the most popular rounds in the world, 9mm. This is banned under this. Understandably, this got shut down really quickly.
Wait, you said 9mm. Isn't those the same rounds that Biden said will blow out your lungs?
Will blow out the lungs, yeah. This is the same round that goes into a Glock, in an ARP-9, an MP5. It's one of the lowest powered rounds on the entire market. Like, you want to talk about blowing out lungs? I would be surprised if a 50 cal could do that.
This is some videos that I have yet to release because I'm still working on it. But I went to the NRA convention in Houston, interviewing the protesters. And
Brandon Herrera was also there.
I went the day after he went. I think, because I was there all day and I did not see him unless there was other entrances. But looking at the background, we were in the same area. No, but I had a Mexican lady. She said an AR-15 round, if shot at a 250-pound man, will leave a hole this big.
Oh.
She said, imagine how much damage it does to a 50-pound child. I had to bite my tongue during that interview because she was so dumb.
Yeah, I mean, they spout their mouth off about stuff that they heard once on a liberal news network that completely lies or don't know themselves. Like, they don't know what the 5.56 was even designed to do, or 223, which is a less powerful version of 5.56. Like,
I also had a veteran there who said we need to remove the Second Amendment since it's only for hunting.
What? Thank you for your service, but die in a hole, please.
Like I said, that video will be a fun one to release, but I have to put that in the back burner right now because I have other important videos ahead of it.
No, I take special agreements with anybody from the military who wants to restrict or get rid of the Second Amendment altogether, or really any amendment within, like, outside of the past 30 years. It's like, what did you guys even fight for? Why were you even in the military? Because you don't respect the stuff that you were fighting for.
Well, they respect it enough for them to have it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Like one of the older videos on my channel is some elitist leftist who owns a bunch of guns and wants a bunch of gun restriction, but only for plebes, right? Only for people without a ton of money. The ultra elite like her, they can have whatever guns they want because they're responsible, or at least that's what she said. It's just it's such a self-absorbed way of thinking. I cannot fathom how these people like even process reality. Um, but yeah, this is the text of the House bill. That's Section 7 is literally that. It's basically saying, by the way, Attorney General, you should submit a report about the process behind this to us every year, and track who buys firearms. Essentially, is what this says. So 90% of this got shot down in the House bill, and I think Abel, you have that. Um,
Which one?
oh,
I got a few
the
things on
Senate
my end.
bill.
I think I sent it to you, but I can resend it.
Try and share it from the stream.
I'll send it to you, but let me try it.
Axo, guess she thinks ARs shoot missiles. There are some people who would probably believe that if you told it to them, because they are incredibly stupid. Like I swear, most people they don't even care to find out what the round was designed to do in the first place.
All right, I'm sharing it. The Senate bill, right?
Yes, that was also included in there.
Yeah, I got it.
Add this to stream. So this is the Senate bill, and then Abel, you want to go through it for us?
Sure.
Or,
One thing
I
that
mean, it's 80 pages, but like the
here's
summary.
one thing that most people, I will say, that should be concerning. This has a table of context. How many other bills do you have about bills with a table of context?
It's a mega bill.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of this is just changing old language and old bills.
Let's see.
But it's concerning whenever they have these 80-page long stuff, because it always shows that they're trying to hide something, especially when they propose it and then 5 minutes later they try to make people vote on it. And I know that at least Chip Roy was like, no, you can't do that. Like you can't have us like you can't propose an 80-page bill and then vote on it 5 minutes later because we haven't had a chance to read it. Our staffers haven't had a chance to go through it and mark it up. It's just trying to ram through a bunch of like anything that's in there.
They do it on purpose. It happens all the time in Congress, the Senate, the House.
Know. Yeah, it's a total strategy for both sides. But at least this time, a couple people stood up to it. Not enough to stop it, but at least there's a few people
right
with
now
backgrounds.
So I would say because it does bring up firearms, that would be under Title 2. And that one has juvenile records defining engaged in the business, use of bribe grants for implementing of state crisis intervention programs. Do you know what that is?
It's flags.
Exactly, red flags.
They purposely leave all of this very vague so that whoever on their side wants to do whatever with it, they are open to do it because, the language doesn't explicitly say you can't, right?
Well, from the way I read it too, it appears as though they're not pushing for a federal red flag. It's more of a push for states to create their own red flags, and they're setting aside what was it, $100 billion that would be available at any time for the states to come in and say, okay, yeah, we're going to put a red flag in law and give us our check.
Yeah. It's withholding state grants unless they do this. It's the same way they rammed through the the Driver Safety Act
What was that one? I don't remember that one.
It was the one where, because technically speaking, on a federal level, you don't have to be, or no, on a federal level, they want you to be 21 in order to buy alcohol, right? But a lot of states set it at 18. So what the federal government did is they passed an act like this, and they were like, we're withholding all grant money from the states unless you put in a law that says that you have to be 21 in order to drive with alcohol in the car. So it's these dirty politicians' playbook. It has been for a long time, and unless people wake up real soon, they're just going to keep doing stuff like this, and they're just going to keep ramming through even more and more egregious legislation. And it won't stop at guns. This will extend to social issues too, especially if the Republicans don't take the midterms.
Well, no, that's if we keep electing spineless Republicans.
Or Republicans who don't do anything when they're in office.
Right. I mean, it does us no good to replace them if we just replace them with the same kind of rhinos that they left with. And that's, we got 14 Republicans that are sold our rights out for who only knows how much money in a backroom deal. But if we hire in new guys that are just as spineless gobs of spit as they were, then what have we accomplished? I mean, yay, we got an R by their name, but they're still a slimy leftist.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that necessarily leftist, but unprincipled swine, definitely. Willing to sell anybody down the drain for money.
I will say this. I've actually had the opportunity to speak with someone who was running for office here in Texas. What I was told is that there are very few Republicans here. The state is mostly ran by Republicans, but he said they're all leftists using the Republican title to be in office because they know that the people
they would never get elected. They would never get elected as Democrats.
And they know that the people of Texas are conservative, so they run as Republicans. Even some of the big names,
for now, there's a wave of people moving out of California, and they're spreading like locusts all across the country. They've even started showing their ugly heads here in Ohio. They're coming into our communities. They're buying up pieces of property, living here long enough to be able to get their names on the ballot, and then running for school board, commissioners, city council, village council, township trustees, and applying all of their California, New York leftist ideologies into these little rural communities. I mean, 3 summers ago, I was told that I couldn't sell the Confederate flag at an event that's been my primary selling item for the last 5 or 6 years. And now all of a sudden, these little communities around me here in rural Ohio are all becoming woke. And I attribute that a lot to the handful of people that have migrated from the predominantly leftist areas like California, like New York, like Chicago, like New Jersey. And they're coming into Texas and Georgia and all these other states. And, they're changing the landscape of the political grounds in those states.
That's one reason why I really, really hope the Supreme Court holds up their spine with the Dobbs case, which has nothing to do with the stream or the Second Amendment, but that's the Roe v. Wade one. If that one passes, you will see a complete reversal of that. It will go back to major geographical polarization because leftists want their abortions, right?
Right.
And they're not going to stick around in an area where 90% of people are conservative and would either disown them from the community if they did something like that or outright ban it in law.
I will say not everyone escaping California is a leftist.
Yeah,
I don't deal in
from the Golden State.
Yeah, but I will agree a good amount of them are.
I don't deal in absolutes when I use statements like that. Obviously, not every single person that leaves any of those places is a leftist. obvious. I mean, the numbers alone say that there's conservatives that are trying to escape those areas too. But what I'm really trying to lean on is even a California conservative is not an Ohio conservative.
No,
Oh, no,
It's a
definitely.
different dynamic.
True.
Oh, no,
It's like
definitely.
I went out to visit Kansas because that's where I'm going to go to college. And I've lived in Orange, California, which is in between LA and San Diego, my whole life. And I get there and I'm blown away by how like conservative the place is and how conservative other people are, because it's just not the culture we have out west.
Right, it's different.
Yeah,
You know, like a
I'm in
California
Texas now.
Democrat. Well, that's like a California Democrat and an Ohio Democrat, not the same thing, not the same
Right.
kind of Democrat.
I'm assuming a California Democrat is way worse than an Ohio Democrat.
Yeah.
I would go out on a limb and say that a California New York Democrat is a borderline leftist nutbag.
I would have said they need to be in an insane asylum.
We do need to bring back
And again, I don't deal in absolutes. That's not a broad brushstroke across every person in California that's a Democrat. It's designed to target the specific people that I'm actually talking about, not just everybody in general.
Right.
Yeah.
She had like a little meeting talking about next
You know, I feel that's one of the problems we have in America today is everybody wants to deal in absolutes. Oh, well, you're a Republican. Well, you absolutely don't believe in what I believe in. Well, that's not necessarily true. I'm a Republican, and I still advocate for the legalization of marijuana. I think people should be able to do drugs if they want to do drugs. It's not my place to decide. As long as we're going to keep saying my body, my choice, then I think that should apply to more things, or stop saying that altogether.
Right.
I think we should stop saying it altogether. But, you know, I mean, like I said, I try to not deal in absolutes like so many other people do. You know,
Well, I think another huge problem is that on both sides they see this whole conflict as completely black and white. On the
Right.
left, the
and
right,
that's the broad brush
completely
strokes.
bad. Everybody on the left, completely good. And on the same thing with the right. You have a lot of people who are in the MAGA crowd who are complete cultists and cannot see any of the faults with any Republican leaders, save like a few who get bad media press like Cornyn and McConnell. It's like you people are completely blind. Like you don't see the larger problems with the Republican Party. So it's that again, I would agree that people need to stop thinking in terms of absolutes and complete black and whites. Because it ultimately is just going to lead to more of this
And
more
I'm
of this kind of
lagging.
legislation.
Absolutely. Well, it's like I can't tell you how many times I've been called a Trump Nazi just because I voted for Donald Trump. And the absolute truth is I don't even like the guy that much, but he's better than the alternative. So that's the route that I went. And I would do it again today. I mean, if Donald Trump decided to run for election again, I would absolutely vote for him again. But that doesn't mean that I don't think he's an asshat.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm more critical of Trump than a lot of people. And you'd probably never know that because I rarely go off on the guy in the presence of other people. But around my family, they know that I have problems with Trump. But again, like I would vote for the guy if anyone other than DeSantis ran against him. Certainly,
I'd love to see this DeSantis run as Trump with his vice president.
I feel like that would be a good idea. I'd like to see that.
That would be a very strong ticket. Pence certainly was
Yes,
not.
sir. Who could beat it?
Pence certainly was not a great person to put in there.
No, he was. Well, I mean, if you're looking for a puppet, he was a great person.
I think the other reason Trump might have picked Pence is because if you look at them, they kind of balance each other out. Trump being a New Yorker, bombastic, out there, says everything on his mind. And then Pence just stays quiet, religious, claims to be religious. I don't know.
Yeah, no, as a Catholic, I can firmly deny the fact that Pence is religious. He is we do not associate with him.
Yeah, but I think the reason Trump might, like I said, probably more for a PR look, trying to get.
I hate when people use religion as that kind of PR thing, though. Biden and Pelosi definitely are guilty of this, where they say they're Catholic as a status point, right? Like it somehow moves them up in the oppressed spectrum on the left, or it somehow gives them extra points to say what they want to do, right? It's completely untrue. Look at the positions they take. They want to start a bunch of wars. They want to keep abortion around in any grotesque form they can have it in. They promote all this LGBTQ, transgender, screw everybody stuff, right? It's just all of that is wildly against church doctrine. But no, we're proud Catholics. It's
Oh, the hypocrisy is waist deep in it all.
yeah,
It's terrible. And the people just keep gobbling it up like it's the absolute honest to goodness truth. You know, I mean, Nancy Pelosi can sit there and talk about how she loves God and once and is a religious person, and then in the same breath talk about how it should be okay to have late term abortions. Like, do you not understand the rules of how God works?
no.
You know, I would love
either
to
she
just
does
ask her.
and doesn't give enough, or she doesn't.
I don't know.
I think if she just don't give a
know, it's that they don't care. These people
They
believe
don't
that they
care.
are above God and they can do whatever they want.
Yep, absolutely. You are 100% right. Yeah, they have no fear. They have no fear. You know, I mean, that's why they were out running around living their lives to the fullest during the COVID. You know, I mean, the heads, the department heads, they were going out and getting their hair done and going to the dinners and doing whatever they want, in spite of having orders in place that said that you and I couldn't do that. Well, why is that? Are they above the law, or are they just not afraid?
Well, not only that, they were very quick to have their agencies crack down on anybody who violated that stuff. We had a number of businesses here in California, in Southern California, ranging from South LA to North San Diego, who they stayed open and they were like, screw it. I remember that there was one store in Burbank. The owner's now been arrested for violating all this COVID stuff, who wouldn't shut his bar down. The state came in, like, they locked his door, so he took bolt cutters and cut the lock off. Then they welded the door shut. He broke the door down, kept his business open, and then they arrested him, and he's been fighting a legal battle ever since, despite the fact that the whole pandemic is over.
Don't forget the two gentlemen in Jersey with the gym.
Oh yeah, that was. I mean, there were a number of gyms that tried to fight that, because that's how they make their livelihood. They have to have people in there to keep the memberships going. But anyways, so that's the current legislation, just so that everybody's aware of that. Now let's move on to the actual good stuff and some hope, which is the Supreme Court case that has come down recently. So I can pull up. Abel, do you actually have the ruling for that?
I don't think this is a ruling. This is from last year's. Let me look it up real quick.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, I can go through the Blaze article that I have up. Okay, so
step outside and see if I can get some better signal.
Yeah, I've had.
Yeah, I'm fighting signal bad in the house.
So, breaking: Supreme Court strikes down New York gun control law in major gun rights victory. And then you, of course, have the screaming crazy leftist in front of the court. Something tells me that when that Dobbs case drops, there's going to be quite a lot of that. The United States Supreme Court on Thursday struck down a New York State gun control law that required gun owners seeking a license to carry a concealed handgun to demonstrate proper cause to do so. Now, I should remind everyone there's also there's a similar law in California and Hawaii, and I think a proposed one in New Jersey and Washington. So since this got shot down, those cases can very easily be downed as well now. So this isn't just a victory for New York. This is a victory for basically every blue state. Conservatives in every blue state. So 6-3 ruling along party lines. New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin. The court revised lower court decisions upholding New York's law and delivered the most significant victory for gun rights in more than a decade. And something tells me that's only the beginning of a landslide of cases to come, because you've got the forced reset one working its way through the courts, Duncan versus Bonta from California, which is the mag ban one. You've got all kinds of ones from Texas with the suppressor freedom stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that is right on the horizon, and this is the tip of the iceberg, I think, for Supreme Court victories in the gun rights stuff. So New York state law required people who want to carry concealed handguns outside their homes to show proper cause for having a license to do so. State courts had ruled that gun owners needed to show more than a general desire for protection in order to obtain a concealed carry license. They could not just claim they wanted it for self-defense. Now, one thing that I did have an issue with this case was you could very, very, very easily make a nationwide argument under the Fourth Amendment to either have this, what New York was doing, or what Texas is doing, which is that you don't need a license or any kind of training at all to conceal carry or open carry. Because Fourth Amendment is general application of the law across all the states. And that we don't have that on this issue right now. So that's what I thought New York State Rifle and Pistol Association should have done with this case, but it might have been filed before that law took effect in Texas, so I'm not sure if that would have applied. But anyways, two men, Brandon Koch and Robert Nash, applied for unrestricted licenses to carry a handgun in public, claiming they wanted to carry their firearm for self-defense. New York rejected their application, asserting that they had failed to meet the state's, quote, proper cause, unquote, requirement. They sued and fought the case through lower courts all the way up to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court declared New York's law unconstitutional on 14th Amendment grounds, saying that New York prevented law-abiding citizens with ordinary self-defense needs from exerting their Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. And then this is from the opinion by Clarence Thomas, mind you, and I think this may be the first opinion he's ever written. Or if it's not, it's certainly the first one in a very long time. Thomas usually doesn't write the main opinions. He usually writes concurring or dissenting opinions. So, in this case, petitioners and respondents agree that ordinary law-abiding citizens have a similar right to carry handguns publicly for their self-defense. We too agree and now hold consistent with Heller and McDonald that the Second and 14th Amendment protects an individual's right to carry a handgun for self-defense outside their home. Because the state of New York issues public carry licenses only when an applicant demonstrates a special need for self-defense, we conclude that the state's license regime violates the Constitution. Justice Clarence Thomas delivered the majority opinion for the court, writing, "The constitutional right to bear arms in public for self-defense is not, quote, a second-class right subject to an entirely different body of rules than the other Bill of Rights guarantees," unquote. So that's a huge roast from Thomas. We know of no other... Go ahead.
I found the article, and yes, it is the 135-page one. I sent it to you in chat.
Okay. Let me stop sharing this. Oh boy, she is a long one.
Yeah, 135.
Well, let me share screen. Okay, so Supreme Court of the United States, New York State Rifle Pistol Association, Inc. versus Bruin, Superintendent of New York State Police. Oh, there's a lot of stuff in here. So yeah, you have the petitioners, Brennan Koch and Ryan Nash, law-abiding New Yorker residents who both applied for unrestricted licenses to carry a handgun in public based on their general interest in self-defense. The state denied both of their applications for unrestricted license, allegedly because Koch and Nash failed to satisfy proper cause requirement. Petitioners then sued respondents, state officials who oversee the process of licensing applications, for declaratory and injunctive relief, alleging that respondents violated their Second and 14th Amendment rights by denying their unrestricted license applications for failure to demonstrate a unique need for self-defense. The district court dismissed petitioners' complaint, and the Court of Appeals affirmed. Both courts relied on the Second Circuit's prior decision in, I'm going to butcher that. That name versus County of Westchester, which had sustained New York's proper cause standard. Following that, the requirement was substantially related to the achievement of an important government interest. So, essentially, what New York was saying here is that New York, the state of New York, has to have a particular interest in giving you. Like, there has to be a kickback to the state of New York, a good for the state of New York, in order to give you this license, which is a complete violation of the Second Amendment. And I mean, there's literally 135 pages in here. There's no way I could ever go through all of this on stream, but I'll link this in a comment down below if anybody wants to read the complete opinion. And again, this was authored by Clarence Thomas, so this is a very rare type of decision, because he very rarely ever authors decisions like this. So, thoughts on that, guys?
I think it's a win for Americans. You know, I mean, it's a shame that it's got to go to the Supreme Court, but you know, with all the bad stuff going on, it's a little bitty piece of a win.
Yeah.
I'm just curious how long these states are going to drag their feet on trying to respect the Supreme Court's ruling.
Oh, New York, I remember a case a while ago where the Supreme Court also shot down some gun restriction they had, and it took them a number of years in order to revise the law. Like, there were threats of a second lawsuit if they didn't get their asses moving.
Isn't Chicago dealing with one of those lawsuits right now where the federal government said you can't do this in regards to firearms, but they're still doing it?
Yeah, that was the McDonald case that the Supreme Court cited. The idea behind they were doing the same thing as New York was, the licensing scheme, and they're still doing it. And the people are saying you have to stop this because it's unconstitutional.
But they're not.
Well, because they don't care for the law.
They only care for the law if it benefits them.
Nobody's ever going to put a leftist in jail, right? And when you try, like, they put Jesse Smollett in jail for what, like 8 days, and then he cried and got out. There's no justice
right.
for these people.
Damn, I wish I could go to jail for 8 days and then be released. Well, with his
on something as heinous as what he did, yeah, that would be great to be able to walk that easy.
But nah, they'll throw me in Guantanamo. But...
Oh yeah, and all of some of the people from J6, they're still in jail and they were never charged. It's complete political hostage.
You got two guys sitting in jail up in Michigan right now that everybody that was charged with them have either pled a case out or have been acquitted of their charges. But Barry Croft and Adam Fox is still sitting there waiting on them to decide whether they're going to try for double jeopardy or not. Right. No bail, no way of getting them out. You know, they just got to sit there and run.
Surprised the Michigan people are still in there. especially now that it's been proven that it was all a Fed ploy.
Right.
The feds have them locked up. They won't let them out. You know, I mean, they're at the mercy of the federal government.
Right, and why would they? Because they'll either tell their story and just make it a complete scandal more than it already is, or two, if you keep them locked up in there long enough, at some point somebody's will is going to break and they'll just plead a case like some of the other people did. And they haven't been
I don't think
charged.
that's going to happen with these guys. I don't think.
No,
I mean,
I
Barry
don't
Croft is in the process of losing his kids right now. His baby mama is coming and stealing his kids away from him because he's not there to take care of them. And he's not going to cop. He's not going to cop a plea. Though he'll sit there and rot before he cops a plea. He's just not built like. He's not going to admit to doing something wrong when he knows in his heart that he didn't do anything wrong.
Right, and it's just.
I actually know Barry pretty well. We've had some really nice conversations.
It's a complete double standard of justice. That's the huge problem that we have here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, going kind of off topic of the Second Amendment thing, the Durham probe finally indicted somebody, and they got a trial. Right, there was so much evidence against them that they conspired to create the whole Trump hoax, that he was working with Russia and sway the election. And he was found not guilty by the jury. And you know who the jury consisted of? A bunch of Clinton staffers.
Yeah, imagine that.
The same people who worked with him. And one of the people who was on the jury was quoted afterwards saying, "What's the problem with lying to the FBI?" Verbatim.
All right, I'll be back. I'm gonna lie to the FBI. I'll need
They'll shoot you and your dog, Abel. But
joke's on you. I don't have a dog.
Clinton, they're fine. Until Clinton gets around to them herself.
And then there'll be another.
Hell, they're probably watching Aspen.
I don't know. There won't be any justice for these people until the American people exact it themselves, and we're decades away from that.
I don't think we're as far away from it as you may feel, man. I mean, I don't know what your societal class is, but I know the people that are out here that are in poverty level, not the middle class, not the lower middle class, but the people that are at poverty level, that right now today, they're choosing between milk or gas. They're choosing between going and making more money or feeding the kids. So, I mean, it's not going to take them very long to get really, really, really fed up with that. I mean, I come from a background of being poverty stricken. I know what that's like, and I've worked and fought my way into the lower middle class. And I'm watching what little bit of wealth that I have accumulated being stolen from me at the gas station in the grocery store. And I tell you what, I can afford to absorb it right now. For another 6 months to a year, I can probably absorb the new cost of living that we have. But all of those millions of people out there that can't absorb the new cost of living, they're going to start becoming irrational. They're going to do irrational things. And I can't guarantee what that's going to look like, but I can guarantee that when you make people hungry, they will do things that they would not do to cure being hungry. And if you add their kids into it, I'm a father of 4. I'm going to tell you right now, my kids will not go hungry, period, end of paragraph. I don't care what the economy looks like. You multiply that by 100 million times, it gets scary. What that looks like, and that's not a decade off. That's 6 months to a year off of people being simply out of food, out of money, out of groceries, out of hope.
Yeah, you probably know better than me because, again, I'm living in crazy California. Where,
I would imagine it's even worse in California, though, where the cost of fuel and the cost of living is even higher than it is for me. I could only imagine it. I mean, with all the homeless people that are on the streets in California, the means that they've had.
California gas is at least $6, over $6 in most places.
We have one Costco here in Orange where it's still below $6, but everywhere else it's above $6. Needless to say, that Costco is perpetually packed.
Oh, definitely. I wouldn't. When I was still living in California, the cheap as soon as everything started hitting $5, I was like, God damn. And I would try to go to Sam's or Costco because those were the cheapest ones, and you had to have a membership for those.
Yeah.
I don't have a membership for those. I have relatives who have them, so I got lucky.
Yeah.
But no, those lines Costco was always packed. Sam's wasn't that packed, which it usually depended on who was cheaper at the time.
Well, I find it very interesting right now that there's like a pseudo run on guns and ammo. And I mean, that always happens before any major gun legislation comes down. But it's more intense now than it ever was. Like even in 2020 here in California, people are just running on guns. And I think, like, at least in my mind, the average American, maybe like not so much where you are, Paul, but the average American is like weighing the cost of civil conflict versus enduring tyranny, and it's like
You're absolutely right.
We want to take action, but is it really worth being away from home and our job and our kids for the amount of time it would take to do something effective?
It's 100% worth it.
And more people will eventually come to the right conclusion that it is. But I think the average American, or at least the average number of Americans that you would need to make that happen, still haven't done that. But the good thing is people are waking up. God's gift to the Republican Party has been the recession that we're going into. I say that as a dig on the left because back in 2020, they said that God's gift to the Democrat Party was COVID. So, hey, turnabout's fair play.
But you was talking about the run on guns. Here in Ohio, I don't think I've seen a stop on run on guns since March of 2020. I was set up at the local gun show when the weekend before they started doing all the closures, shutting down schools, shutting down small businesses. And that gun show was not anything spectacular as far as my take home pay goes. Now, ever since then, the gun shows have been on fire. The cost of guns has went through the roof. The local gun stores around here have not been able to keep anything really in stock since, like I said, 2020, April of 2020. Guns and ammo have just been flying off the shelves. Now, ammo slowed down a little bit. You're finding bulk amounts of ammo here in Ohio now, but it's still pretty expensive and it's very limited. You go into a local gun store, they might have one crate of 1,000 rounds and then a whole bunch of 50 round boxes. I don't buy ammo 50 rounds at a time. I buy it 1,000 rounds at a time, which makes my purchasing power a little difficult right now because there's not that many places that have that much in stock at any one time.
Right. And I mean, all the companies that manufacture that ammo, Federal, SIG, Remington, they all expanded their facilities to accommodate for the ammo shortage by like 10 times. They massive new facilities. Right. I actually got to see one as we were driving by it in Arizona. This Remington facility, massive plant, and there's an ammo shortage.
Well, apparently the military is stepping up their purchasing power, is what I've been reading in the underground, that Lake City is going to cut 30% of their 5.56 ammunition going to civilians and divert it to the military.
And I don't even know why they're doing that, because the military just moved to a new gun and a new cartridge, the M5.
They're going to ship it to the Ukraine.
No, these
they're going to send it to Ukraine.
They're probably sending all of our old 5.56 stock to Ukraine, because this new 6.5 gun is purpose built to defeat Chinese body armor. I've gone over the spec sheet.
Shit, I can do that with a 22. So the Chinese have finally started making actual armor. Right. I mean, they started making actual armor because all the shit that I've bought off of Wish, you can poke holes through it with a 22.
Unless that's what they're selling to America, yes.
Well, I
And
mean,
they're keeping
I don't doubt
their
that
own
the
stuff
Chinese are
high
selling
quality.
the crappy stuff to us. But like being generous to their military, what they've got level 3 plates at best. Our troops have level 4.
Even if they got level 4, man, you throw some armor piercing 30-06s at them. The armor piercing 30-06 don't give no F's about what your level armor at is.
Yeah.
I thought that level 4 can stop 30-06 armor piercing.
Level 4 is supposed to stop level 4, or level 4 is supposed to stop armor piercing 30-06, but in practice it doesn't.
Yeah, I'd like to see it do it. And I'd like to see what the fellow wearing that armor looks like after if it does stop it.
Do you have a 30-06? That's armor piercing?
Yeah. Comrade Kalashnikov.
Yeah, the 30-06 armor piercing, man, that's going to liquefy your guts. Even if you do get a plate to stop it.
No.
Yeah, let's do a science experiment. I'll go visit you. I got some armor.
Bring it. Send it. We'll shoot it. We'll shoot it up, man. Send it out here. I honestly would like to know what my best options are for body armor, because when I bring stuff that I buy out here on the range, I've been consistently disappointed in it.
Yep. Just, when you shoot me, just don't miss a vital, please.
Oh, you want to wear it? Holy shit, you got big balls.
To be fair, I don't really have much balls left. I blame California.
Okay.
That's a dark joke.
We'll just use the big balls as a metaphor then.
I'm going to drop the link in the chat for like the one person who's active and wants to join. Comrade, go ahead and join. Because they've been asking some really good questions. Like, I'm particularly a fan of this one. Like, what do we have to conserve restricted freedom of speech, tax cuts, and foreign wars? I
agree with their statement early on about California being beautiful. Not sure if you saw that one.
Yeah, I agree with California is a beautiful place too. It absolutely is. The redwood forest, the ocean lines, Northern California is a beautiful place. Yeah, even upstate New York is a beautiful place.
I just took a trip to Kings Canyon, which is national park in California. Absolutely beautiful, and some of the redwoods there are, I mean, they're not even redwoods. They're called giant sequoias. They're absolutely incredible trees. It's just a shame that the state's been completely run into the ground. And I'm a fourth generation Californian, and I'm probably going to be half the generation that leaves California in my family because we can't stay here.
Yeah,
I'm the
you're welcome in Ohio, brother.
Ain't a good place anymore.
I have to say Texas is beautiful, especially where I'm at.
I have visited Dallas. I have family in Dallas. I
fucking hate Dallas. I almost got in a fight the first day I got here because I did not know they had toll roads, and my GPS was trying to send me through the toll roads, and I almost hit someone's vehicle, and they got mad at me. They were yelling at me while they drove away. Like,
I think I could go out on a limb and say that I hate pretty much all major cities. I don't think I've ever been to a major city that I was like, you know what, I want to live here.
Cities are absolute cancers. I don't know if
I love being out in rural Ohio.
A lot of people, but San Diego is a really nice city. It's by far the best place in California.
Can you walk out your back door and shoot your gun?
No. Well, actually, in northern San Diego, yes, you can. There's a lot of land up there.
Okay.
Well, that technically, if you go into Mexico, I think you'd be fine. Just don't get caught bringing it back.
Right.
No. Great story about that. I had a friend, and I can't say any more details than that. I just had a friend who got some firearms across the border, showed them to Border Patrol. He brought those into the States. They couldn't stop him because the Biden policy, right? And now the guy literally has a bunch of automatic weapons.
God bless
that he got in Mexico.
How in the
God damn it.
hell? How could they not stop him from crossing the border with them?
Because he's Mexican, and the Biden
So you
policies
can come, but the guns can't.
That's not what the Biden policies are saying.
Yep.
No shit. So if I sneak out of America and go buy a bunch of guns, I can come back in after I denounce my citizenship and keep my full auto.
No,
Oh, no,
I
he-
think
he-
they'll
He
stop
didn't
you because you're
bother showing
white.
them their citizenship. 'Cause, I mean, they are American citizens, but like they're visibly Mexican.
Mm.
So like
They
they
have to like fake a Mexican accent to like get into the U.S.
I
I
don't
don't
think
know.
you.
I don't even know
As
that
long as you
have to,
look
because
Mexican
a bunch
enough.
of the a bunch of the people that are getting across the border right now, they're like Pakistani, Indian, Chinese. They're all kinds of people, all kinds of undesirables.
Yep.
You know what? Now I want an
Wow.
automatic. I need to go call my cousin in Mexico.
That's what I'm screaming, dude. Can you put in an order for 2?
Which ones do you want?
I don't care. I'm not picky.
All right, I'll have my
As
cousin.
long as it goes
Yeah.
fast.
I agree. I'll take anything I can get at this rate.
Just don't tell the
Right,
ATF
as long
that
as
your
it goes
dog is
fast,
good as
I'm
dead.
happy.
I don't think the ATF will care. I'm Mexican.
But you're conservative. That's where they
ATF
draw the
won't
I'm
line.
not a conservative.
Starting to get to the point to where I don't care what the ATF approves of or not. Yeah, I'm
Oh,
really starting to get at
totally.
a place in my
The
life where
entire-
I'm.
The entire
really
deterrence
wish-
dispense community with a 3D printed firearms gave up on obeying the federal government a long time ago. Like I've been watching the development in that community. There is literally
Yeah.
plans on the
That's-
internet to build
awesome.
a break action 410 shotgun for about
Mhm.
$80.
Mm.
It's nuts. And some of the other
You can
stuff,
actually go to the hardware store and put that together for like $20.
oh, I'm sure for like a ultra ghetto blaster, but
It's an ultra ghetto blaster, but boy, it'll send lead downrange.
oh, I don't doubt it. I can't say that on stream.
Yeah, come on.
Careful, easy, sailor.
I'm like, what's going to get YouTube to really come after my channel?
You got to
saying a
get
lot.
more people. You're not reaching enough people yet, so they don't even care. That's why I can get away with some of the stuff I get away with on Therapy Range, even at pushing 3,000 subs. They don't care. They're not looking at me yet.
Mm-hmm. You know, I don't
Of course,
think
it might come back and bite you in the ass 10 years from now if you don't take it down.
Oh, I don't think either this country or this government is going to be here in 10 years.
I hope not.
I definitely hope
Not the government, not the country, the government.
Yeah.
I love my
No, yeah,
country.
the
The people
country,
running it are
I-
assholes.
The country will still be here, but this government is, I mean, it's not that necessarily
go.
I want to see a revolution and I want to see bloodshed. It's that
want that.
literally you have in the 1940s, right? This insane ideology in Germany. It's the same one that's here. They come over in the form of German professors in the 1950s and they infiltrate all of the major universities. Notre Dame, Berkeley, Harvard, the major ones, right? And then they start teaching these young, impressionable, and frankly stupid baby boomer people who go through these colleges, these big name colleges, and then those people go out and start spreading this ideology too. So it's like this virus, and we don't know that it's this massive virus that we've contracted from Nazi Germany. And they start spreading this anti-Western deconstructionist ideology, just cancerous philosophy, until you get to the logical climax, which is now they have control of the government. Now their cards are completely visible. Their hand is down on the table. They've got nothing else left to do other than just completely finish the job and destroy America, except now that they've made the crucial mistake of now we know they're here. And now the country is overwhelmingly pushing them out.
Well, I think they've grossly overplayed their hand. I mean, grossly
definitely.
overplayed their hand, and they've grossly underestimated the desire of that Americans have to remain free. You know, there's a lot of people out there that'll just go ahead and play ball and follow along like worker bees, worker drones. But there's a tremendous amount of us out here that are not going to put up with this kind of jackassery forever. We're just
No, I
not.
mean, even in California, there are quite a few people, like a large number of people, who would rather die than ever kneel to these people, myself included.
And just
But
to be
it's
fair,
like,
what is this ideology? Does it start with an F?
there's a lot of names for it. The best that I can give it is deconstructionism. It's basically the idea that everything that the West has ever created, everything associated with the West is bad and must be destroyed.
Ah,
It's the culmination of Hegelianism, Marxism, Kant and all of his crazy ideas, John Paul Sartre, basically the worst philosophers of the past 400 years.
yeah.
All of that rolled into one.
I googled it, and the first thing that came up was a shitty modern art building. So yeah,
There you
Modern
go.
art is trash.
yeah. It's not
Modern
really.
art isn't art.
Yeah.
Modern music isn't music.
Ugh.
Have you seen the music that these kids listen to now? Well, you're a youngster like me.
I just graduated high school, and like
Oh,
all
good
I
for
would
you.
hear at sports games is just rap and bad rap.
Mm.
Like there's very little rap that I would actually consider music. And if you go back to the etymology of the word music, it was Latin for praise of God. That's the stuff I listen to is not praise of God. It is not music.
Yeah, I'm in the assumption that anything after like the year 2000 isn't really music anymore. You know, it starts to get to like trash.
See, I'm going to push that back to around 94, 93, 94.
Mm.
Basically, anything that came out from the 90s on,
Well,
there was a few good songs, but for the most part, it was meh.
Yeah,
the notable exception that I have is our Lord and Savior Sabaton.
yeah, they're great. They're great.
They're rocking hard.
Mhm.
Listen to all of their new songs.
Yeah.
Well, there's always going to be some good music here and there past the years you guys are giving.
Yeah.
Right. Well, again, back to not working with broad paint strokes. It's not an absolute. Of course, there was some good music, some good bands came out during that time period. But, you know, I mean, you go back to between the 70s and 80s, you work a lot harder to find stuff that was no good. And then when you get into the 90s, it becomes very easy to find things that weren't very good.
You know, nowadays it's hard to find things that are good.
I don't even try anymore. I don't even turn the radio on in my car because I know that everything on the radio is a product of this liberal indoctrination that started back after Germany in the colleges. I mean, that's really everything right now is a product of that indoctrination that we're seeing that's coming out in a new format. Again, not broad brushstrokes. There are some things, but generalizing, you know, I mean, just pretty much everything. I mean, your TV, your internet shows, books, magazines, cartoons for the kids Disney is a prime example of how the left ideology, that Marxism, is just invading every aspect of our lives. And you can't even get away from it now. You can't even turn on a network TV show and find good, wholesome American values in programming because it doesn't exist. The values of what this new generation is calling wholesome American values is not anything that that resembles wholesome American values to me. I mean, it's all just jackassery.
You know,
Well,
I
People
said
pretending.
this in the chat like a little earlier. I said, I don't call myself a conservative anymore. I don't see anything to conserve in modern American society. I really agree with what you said because I don't see traditional American values anymore. They don't exist. Like
Only in the older generation. I'm pushing 50 years old. My generation is probably the last one that you're going to see. You know, I mean, with the exception of like the handful of people that we see here, you know, there are younger cats that do have those values, but it's far and in between. And it has a lot to do with your parents pushing you towards God and teaching you right from wrong. And we don't have much of them anymore.
So here's where I have to shatter your entire worldview and give you hope for the future. Those people do exist. They just went underground, and I'm a product of that. So my parents, traditionalists, Catholic as hell,
that
right?
is so based.
My grandfather used to take my mom and her sisters and her brother out to shoot guns in the middle of nowhere. So like that all has been ingrained in my family for generations upon generations. My grandfather grew up on a farm here in California back before World War II started. And his father moved here from like New York back before, like, right after the Civil War had ended. So very traditionalist as far as my family goes. But when my mom and dad were like getting ready to put me in school, we're like, we don't want to put him in the church school because it's not even really Catholic. It's a school on church grounds. And we don't want to put him in a public school because even back then you could really see that the cracks were forming and that there was this terrible indoctrination going on. So my parents were like, well, you know what? Let's homeschool him. So that's what they did. And I grew up with a very small group of friends, very good group of friends who I still talk to. And, you know, you got Axo here in the chat. And I made these good, solid connections. And we eventually, right as I was about to go into high school, we found this program called Colby Academy. And this program sprung up completely grassroots, nothing to kickstart them. They're now one of the biggest online homeschooling curriculums across the entire nation. They even have people from outside the United States in the program. And traditional American values, Catholic faith, respect of God in the classroom, and they've got hundreds of students, and they're expanding every year to the point where like they're begging for more people to come work for them. And it's not just that. I go to colleges to visit, and I was looking for a very niche group of colleges, and I found this. It's called the Newman Guide of Schools. I don't know if anybody in here has ever heard of those, but places like Thomas Aquinas, J.P. Catholic the Great, Hillsdale is, I think, applying for a spot on that guide. University of Dallas, Benedictine College, and all of these schools, some of them have been around since the Civil War. Hillsdale and Benedictine, good examples of that. But other ones, they're as new as like 10 years ago they started. And all of these schools are prioritizing American values, prioritizing good ancient philosophy, the stuff from Plato and Aristotle and all the way through Aquinas and Augustine, the good stuff before we threw it out the window in the Renaissance era. And you have all these people who are starting to be products of this this system that's being built from the grassroots up. But a lot of them are homeschooled. A lot of them are coming out of private Catholic schools that still have good morals. And I had never even known that there were other people like me. And there's an army of them out there. So many I can't even count. And they're all my age, 18 or younger. So it's like you might not see it now, but in 30 years, there's going to be a massive, massive shift in the demographic.
You know, as much as your bloomer,
I hope you're right, man.
Yeah, as much as your bloomerism is like tried to convince you, I am dead set that you just can't save America anymore. Just in my opinion, like I'm this close to like grabbing a rifle, just going out into the woods.
Easy, sailor.
You can still save America. The country is not lost. But history is cyclical. I think everybody would agree with that, right?
Yeah.
And this country was built on a foundation unlike any other one, where we can change over time. We're an experimental country. The Constitution was built to change. It was built to evolve over time. That's how we shed the bonds of slavery and got rid of the prohibition. Two major things in our history. And probably the most recent example was the civil rights movement. Major shifts in how this country operated. We have the capacity to do that, whereas other countries would crumble under the same kind of shift. Like, look what happened in France when they went through the same process. French Revolution, one of the worst periods of history. I have a feeling that we're entering into another one of those time periods. It might be bloody, like the first Civil War was. It might not be, although I'm not holding out hope for that. But America is like we've grown into, I don't know, I guess you could almost say like a lizard or a bug grows out of its skin. We have to shed the skin right now, and that's the process that we're getting to.
I will also add that have faith in some of us in the younger generation. Obviously, I feel like I'm a decent example. I was a hardcore leftist.
Yeah, you're not too much older than me.
My point exactly. I went through public schools, public college, all the public stuff, and I became batshit insane. And then life smacked me right in the face.
Congratulations for seeing the light, Abel. Congratulations, man.
Yeah, I will say
It says a lot
I did
about
take
you as a character. It says a lot about your character, though, that you believed in something, and through rational reasoning, reasonable thought process, you were able to change your ideology.
Life just slapped me in the face, and
that's how God works sometimes. I wanted to go into the Navy, and God had to hit me with a ton of bricks in order to stop me from doing that.
Yeah, it wasn't. I wasn't rational at the time. Like I said, life legit just slapped me in the face. Because I did take a couple tolls on my body for me to realize that I was insane.
Yeah, no, I firmly believe that the foundation upon which America was built is still solid, and we can still save this country. But it's going to be hell to do it. And it's going to take a generation of Americans who are not afraid to suffer, who are not afraid to be courageous, and who are willing to accept death, if that so be the case, in order to enact a future they may never see. And the thing is, I don't know if the people exist to do that. Some of them are in your generation. A lot of them are in your generation, but a lot of them are also in mine. And I don't know that a lot of them have yet reached the maturity level where they can do that yet. Again, this is God's country. We would not exist without divine intervention. There was no possible way we could have, even with French help, there was no possible way we could have beaten the British Army in 1776, but we did. It was a bloody miracle. And in every war that we've fought ever since then, even against Nazi Germany, the odds were stacked against the United States, and we came out every time. So God's hand of protection is on this country. I have firm belief in that. It's just that we need a generation of people who can act on that.
Yeah, maybe a little less in
Well, I firmly believe that we're here right now today, all four of us, plus many, many more, because we were meant to be here to fix this problem that we're dealing with here today. That's the only purpose that we have, that I feel like I have in life, is that I was meant to be here for this situation, to be a part of fixing this country and bringing it back to what it used to be, so that my kids and my grandkids and the generations of kids that I'll never get to meet will have the ability to enjoy the same amount of freedom that I've had today. Because I can tell you right now, I can look back to where my parents were at my age right now, and I don't have the freedom that they had. And I know as well as I'm standing here right now, that if we don't unite together and figure out a way of correcting course together, that the kids that I have in the house right now, when they are 47 years old, they will not know the freedom that I have right now today. And that, my friend, is just not acceptable. So while I do agree with Comrade to a sense that it's scary out there and it seems like there's no hope, you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in who you call God, and know in your heart that we can fix this together. But we can only fix this together. That's the only way it's going to work, is if more people come together and talk like we're talking right now. And even though we may not all agree on every single aspect of the conversation, the bottom line is that we all agree that we want our freedom, and we want it now.
That's pretty inspirational, I'll be honest.
Well, I mean, one thing that comes to mind is, I mean, for anybody who ever read The Lord of the Rings or watched the third movie, You know the scene where the armies of Sauron are knocking at I think it's the big huge walled city. I'm blanking on the name. They're knocking on its gates. They're gonna break through. Everybody in the city is gonna die. There's no hope to hold out against this massive army. Everything seems hopeless. And then the one of the hobbits is like, "It's over. We're gonna die." And Gandalf says to him, "You know, you can't. The hardest fights fall to the strongest people, right? Like you don't get to choose the time in history that you're alive, but you were put there for a reason." Helm's Deep, thank you, Cameron. It's like you don't get to choose. You don't get to choose when you're alive, but the hardest fights always fall to the strongest people, and it's not up to us to say, you know, this isn't our battle. It's only up to us to make do with what we can, and to trust that even if we die, this isn't even the final chapter. Like there's something so much better waiting for us that like this world could never even touch.
There are some things worth dying for.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
firmly believe that this country is one of them, and I would lay down my life for it in a minute's notice.
Well, you know,
I'm just waiting for go time.
depending on the situation, I might lay down my life for the country. I'd lay down my life, not for the government.
No,
We're
certainly not
we're
the
not
government.
talking about the government at all.
Yeah,
No,
but
we're talking about the principles upon which this country was built.
yeah, I'd lay down my life for that any day.
Well,
And
I'll
you're
have
not
an answer
alone.
for that eventually. Just waiting on some results.
It's like another thing I like to put this whole situation in terms of is Satan has so little time left to drag as many souls down to hell with him as possible before God says enough. Like if you look at the last century of what's gone on, everything from World War II, World War I up to our current period of time, it's been the most bloody, the most violent, and the most destructive morally period of time that we've ever faced as a species.
Yeah.
And it's only now that you have this group of people from across the world, really, who are like, enough. We don't want this anymore. Let's stop this. You saw that during COVID, I think, better than in any other instance, where everybody was placed under lockdowns by these tyrannical governments. And from Canada to Europe, even parts of China right now, you see these people who are like, we can't take this anymore. Enough is enough.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I mean, Trump disrupted everything too. I don't doubt that if Hillary had won that election, we would not have a country right now. They were with Obama. They were destroying this country from the inside out, and you can see that with Biden too. But Trump messed everything up. He ruined their entire timeline.
Yeah.
And now they're trying to rush everything. They've overplayed their hands. They're doing everything in a time frame that was not conducive to their plans. And they're pissing off the American people, which history has shown is a fatal mistake.
Yeah. But, you know, a few things. One, I think I definitely agree. The satanic world order is not prepared for this at all. Like they're not prepared for a rise up of like American citizens, like people of the world uniting in opposition to them. But the problem is, I don't think currently we are strong enough to really, you know, make meaningful change, if you know what I mean.
That's what I've been saying is,
yeah,
we aren't at that point yet. We're getting there.
Because too many people just don't want to do the work. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, that's exactly what I was saying earlier. Is because like I was telling Paul, we have all these people who are weighing the cost of essentially what would be civil war to, you know, enduring tyranny. A lot of people are waking up and realizing that it's probably better to just die than live under this, in the slight chance that we have a better future. But you know, you don't have enough of those people yet to affect that. So
well, and that's going to all go back into the economy, what we was talking about earlier.
Exactly.
As more and more people continue to suffer, they're going to find themselves waking up to a new America that they're not familiar with, and they're going to get mad about it. They're going to get mad. And the biggest problem that I see right now for the people that are awake is they just don't know what to do. They don't know how to fight this machine. It's so big and you got so many arms and tentacles. How do you go up against this? What can one little old American do to make a difference in this great big machine of tyranny that's taking place? And, you know, I think the best piece of advice that I can give people is to unplug from it as best you can. You know, I understand you can't thoroughly all the way unplug from it. The society won't allow you to. But even if it's just as much as unplugging from the grocery store or buying solar panels and unplugging from it that way, unplug from the system as best you can. And at the very least, that should create some financial freedom to be able to make some different moves. But we all know what the outcome of just sitting around scratching your butt is. Nothing. Yeah. Nothing's going to change.
You know, I just like to say, I think what you're talking about with like unplugging from society is it's the correct way to go, in my opinion. Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you do it on a large enough scale, you know, it's going to have an impact. You know, otherwise, you know, we're going to have to grab our rifles and go to DC, and that's not going to work out very well either.
From a tactical standpoint, DC should not be the first target of a civil conflict. It actually should be the last. But I could go over that in a completely different series of like a tactical breakdown of that, because that's how I think.
Yeah.
But from a moral standpoint, and go ahead.
Yeah. I said, you shouldn't do that here.
No, I'll do it on Odyssey. The Odyssey's chill.
But you have an Odyssey? Wait,
yeah.
Put that in the chat. I'll follow that.
Okay.
At least.
No, it's like, how to put it, unplugged from the system. Yeah, a lot of people can't do it, but what I would say is that in preparation for anything that's going to happen, you better be on good terms with God, and your trust better be in him before your trust is in any politician or even hell, your own firearms. Because if God's not on your side, we're fighting a losing battle. Because like Paul was saying, we're going up against such a monstrously huge enemy that most people can't even see the size of yet, and the true extent of how ingrained it is into society. But nothing's as big as God, and nothing is nearly as powerful. I look at the Tower of Babel. So it's just, what I would say is unplug in society, but the first step to doing that is, you know, make peace with God. And make sure that, you know, you're praying, and at the very least that you're prepared to go out on good terms with him. I don't know how to phrase it any other way.
And you know, another thing is, I clearly think that if, like, in a situation like this, if we were to fight back, we need to embrace God, because I know there's plenty of other quote conservatives out there who are like, oh yeah, I'm ready to go right now. I'm ready to take on the machine. I don't need.
Well, no, they're not. Those
they don't even know who to fight.
Yeah, those people don't know who to fight. They have absolutely no idea what they're even fighting for.
Yeah,
it's like,
right?
What are you fighting for? To install Trump?
They're misguided, upset
military dictator. No.
Yeah. No. Those people are they're purely fighting for. In my opinion, there's two types of these people. There's one which is the person who is totally misguided, and they want to fight for like they want to fight for quote conservative values, but they don't know what that is. So they end up fighting for the neocon agenda, and then it's like, oh yeah, we should go to a bunch of foreign wars. Yeah, George Bush was so awesome. That's the first one, and the second one is the person who is a leftist in disguise, but says they are on the right. You know, I think that's the two versions of those people.
No, like politicians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, bastards, I call them.
Well, the problem is you're on both sides, right? On both sides, you're gonna have people that are either, you know, good, and that just want peace, or you're gonna have those who just basically want, you know, war and blood for the sake of having it. That's the problem.
Pacifists and anarchists.
And they're on both sides too. They're not on, you know, one
Absolutely.
or the other.
Absolutely.
Now there is, you know, I would say they're on one side. There's a bit more of them than the other, right? But no matter what side you're looking at, you're going to see these kind of people. They I think CBSA just said pacifists and anarchists. Yeah.
Wait, what did the Supreme Court do today? I just
We've been talking about that the whole that was supposed to be the point of the stream.
I just
So it was mostly on the permits, because New York, you cannot have a permit as a regular civilian. You need to be a special person.
Yeah,
which mostly just means someone within the government who are rich enough to bribe them.
I'm semi-familiar with New York gun laws. I used to live there.
Oh, oof.
It's a really shitty place. I'm going to be completely honest.
Where are you now, if I may ask?
I am in Wyoming.
Not a bad state.
Yeah, it's a great state. It's really beautiful. It's there's like a few parts of the state which aren't really good. I would say the Teton County area, which is the one leftist spot in all of Wyoming.
Watch them. They're like poison ivy. They'll spread.
Yeah, and they picked the most beautiful place in the entire state. Like Wyoming is nice looking, but like Teton County is like an entire different planet from Wyoming. Like it's
that's the thing with leftists. They will always take the most beautiful states and the most beautiful areas and completely bastardize them. That's what they did in California. That's what they did all up the East Coast.
That's what they're doing here in Ohio
and in Boston.
Look at California. It used to be a Republican sanctuary, essentially, and now it's, and then it turned blue and became hell on earth.
Yeah.
Can attest to that.
We should rename California just hell on earth. Like, it's true.
Constant I mean, look at pre-blue California, and you'll find cheap prices, great lifestyle. It's not that bad. And then look afterwards, and it's just horrible. It's almost a dictatorship in itself. It's its own country almost.
Pre-blue California wasn't a metropolitan, like massive center of commerce. We had LA, and that was about it. LA and San Francisco, I should say. San Diego was not the major naval complex that it is now. Sacramento was a podunk town in the middle of nowhere. And a lot of places that are super big now were agricultural places. Orange, where I'm at, used to be literally that. It was a grove of oranges. I think like really the best example of the only one that's left like that in California is Bakersfield.
I mean, you get to thank Carter for that,
Yeah.
His presidency. I think they're just incompetent.
Check it out, guys. My dinner's getting cold. I'm going to go ahead and hop off here. I really appreciate you having me on the show. I'd be more than happy to come back and do it again any other time. But for today, I'm going to go fill my belly up with some good home cooking.
Go ahead and take your time, Paul. It's been an absolute honor having you on.
Hey, anytime, give me a holler if you're looking for a perspective from one of the older cats.
No problem. All right. See you later.
Guys have a great day. Live your life to the fullest, because anything less is an injustice to yourself and every single person around you. Stay free, my friends.
Stay free.
Stay free. CPSA. I also did. I did just advertise this on my True Social, so I'm hoping that
awesome.
Draw some
we'll hopefully
attention.
get a few more people on here.
So I just looked up California.
For everybody who's going to watch the replay of this video, welcome to United States Enclave, the twice banned from YouTube conservative who they hate. So, absolute honor to have him on here.
Yeah, thank you.
He blew up his oil rig twice, dude.
Yeah.
Brought the Apaches out.
Yeah, YouTube hates me with a passion. So, there's that. I mean, that's a bad genre, though. Be truthful. So.
And then I'm going to shamelessly self-promote myself. You can see my name if you are watching the stream. I am the real God. Yeah, I control the universe.
Could you nuke DC?
Probably. I'd like to.
It's Kalashnikov. He's back. He's back.
Kyle is back.
I've taken a long absence.
Kalashnikov's got the United States flag. Just.
I took a long vacation in Alaska.
Okay, that makes sense. That's neat. Okay, that adds up.
All right. Well, I'm gonna head on to like what the stream was actually gonna be about, which is the licensing scheme with the Supreme Court decision. So the decision was here. I think I can share my screen. Why can't I stop screen? What is going on?
What? And
Well, while you do that, I just
I
looked
got
up
it.
California about in the 1960s. Yeah, it was very red.
Oh yeah,
Just as
I
an
mean,
example. Obviously,
a
LA
shame.
still being LA.
It's such a shame what they did to California. I mean, New York and California, two like icons of the U.S., are now like basically ruins of what they used to be. It's so
yeah,
sad.
New York used to be a great state. Like
I mean, you got the Statue of Liberty, the icon of a better life and peace and freedom.
Well, the
And now it's just
American
like,
dream.
it's horrible. Yeah, the American dream.
And I gotta say something pretty funny. The Freedom Tower is lit up during this month. So is the Empire State Building. You want to know what colors they pick for this month?
Oh,
They
Rainbow?
rainbows.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
Rainbow?
red, white, and blue. Not red, white. The gay
Oh.
color. I
Yeah,
don't
Well,
know.
I have my own problems with that. It's because the rainbow used to be a sign from God that
Yeah,
there would
the
never
promise.
be as
Wait.
massive of a travesty.
Doesn't the
as
flag
flood.
have? Doesn't the rainbow have 7 colors?
Yeah, it's now a rainbow with black and brown added for racism, and I think they've added the
They've added the
yellow
They've
circle.
added the transgender colors, the intersex.
So
No, the
here's
reason why I ask because I know the flag that the normal flag for Pride is 6 colors.
Yeah.
And
6.
but the rainbow has 7 colors.
Love how they chose the number 6. Just 2 more 6s, and we got 3.
Well,
Well,
where that
usually 7
ideology
is a number of
free
God's
from.
protection.
I don't know if you guys saw in UK, but in the UK, it's just basically whole city blocks were captured by that flag. It's like if you didn't know any better, you would think that that's like the flag that's ruling the world right now, and it might be. I mean, some people now, I don't know if I believe this. I haven't really looked into it much personally, but some say that if you turn the rainbow flag just a bit, they're like triangle with the stripes and the little circle. If you turn it just a bit, looks almost like it kind of forms a little swastika type thing going on there. It's kind of a similar.
It would not surprise me at all because these people are absolutely satanic and insane.
I literally did a video. I did a meme video on this, and I literally hopped on my computer, and I saw they had like on the little search tab the rainbow flag. I'm like, get that off my computer. I'm turning that off. And I find it interesting though that it had like what the way they designed it, the image, the like triangle color was flipped to look like a pyramid. It seemed, and then the rainbow colors go through it and almost form like a flag in the back. It's really weird.
What I think is even more pressing about flying pride flags everywhere. Like, how long are we going to go on and just deny it? But these flags represent anal sex. Like, I'm be the one to say it. Like,
Putting that out there.
come on. How long are you
that
going
is
to
the
deny?
uncomfortable
Not
truth.
just anal sex. You also got to remember now it involves. I'm gonna quote John Doyle: "Putting an axe wound in between your legs."
Yeah. And it also represents, black people now, because yes, they are gay.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Swear
I
to
didn't
God.
even know they were.
In the
I didn't know
progress,
they were
And
black.
justice,
It's they're trying to encompass every perceived group that has been marginalized or made fun of or oppressed at any point in the history of the world for any reason, no matter if there were good or bad reasons for oppressing or marginalizing that group to begin
I
with.
was watching.
I'm just waiting until they put the Japanese and the Chinese and the Irish.
Put a star
few
in there.
other-
Just
Hey,
like a little
I'm
star on the
Irish. I'll
star.
take the representation.
yeah, we need some representation.
I was watching Salty Cracker's live stream, I think it was yesterday, and he was talking about it, and he's like, yeah, you're oppressed, all right? It looks like you're doing the oppressing now. You got like rainbow flags all across everyone's country. It's like
What was the meme that I saw on Twitter? It was you don't get to play the oppressed card when all the corporations are flying your flag.
I know, it's like not also the corporations, but like government. Like it's over government buildings. Like you're not a. I'm sorry, you don't get to use that card. You're oppressing at this point. Like I don't understand how you're
that's
oppressed.
100% true.
I conquered the globe. I'm so oppressed, guys. It's like no, you're really
like
not.
who's against you? Hobby Lobby?
Didn't
man.
Hitler start
Big
the
Hobby Lobby.
genocide and World War II on the premise that Germany was oppressed because it didn't have enough living space and the Jews were destroying German society?
Yeah.
And the Germans were the oppressed ones?
Oh yeah, and then they
I just want to throw that out there.
tried, and then they almost conquered Europe. Yeah, so oppressed. It's like I don't know though, comrade. You might be on some there. Big Hobby Lobby's coming after them. I don't know. We got big tech over here.
Big Hobby Lobby.
Big Hobby Lobby.
No, we all know it's actually Chick-fil-A who's targeting them.
Oh
not
yeah,
anymore.
Chick-fil-A. They're going to get your
Chick-fil-A
cows.
sold out to Planned Parenthood. I'm so mad about that.
It is.
What-
It's so sad.
Wait, what do you mean? Now
I'm
I'm
gonna be honest,
confused.
Planned Parenthood is a satanic organization. And
Well, no, I meant
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
Good news about that, though. The last abortion clinic, the last Planned Parenthood in the state of North Dakota closed down 2 days ago.
Well, I think
North Dakota is officially abortion free.
I mean, the problem, the Chick-fil-A. The problem is Chick-fil-A used to be like I think relatively, Christian-esque, and kind of conservative, and then they for some reason they decided, you know what, we'll join the big, corporate money-hungry people over here that don't really give a darn about anything, and we'll just promote Pride Month and all these other things. It's like, yeah, so great, good. I see you got some.
I haven't seen Chick-fil-A promote anything Pride related.
Oh yeah,
Well,
I mean,
no,
they've
the
done
thing
some of that stuff,
They donate a lot of money to Planned Parenthood and LGBTQ organizations.
and then they
After
pretend like
they
they're not.
originally donated money to groups that help their mental illness, to say the
And they were
least.
pushing a lot of COVID stuff, like the COVID. Oh, I can't shoot. Fuck. Okay. Yeah. Moving on.
The,
Well,
can't
someone
do
must
that.
be targeting
which
him.
shall not be named.
I can't say that video.
Can't
Yeah, I
say
don't know,
no.
man. One of those has already been taken down on this channel. I wouldn't push your luck.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't say that on here. I don't want to endanger the stream or anything like that.
I've already had one medical misinformation ding.
Yeah. Yeah. It's totally real, guys.
That's why
Biden
everybody
was
should
right.
go follow
Totally.
me on
Yeah.
Odyssey because I can speak my mind over there.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
you see, whenever you mess up, you just got to be like, oh yeah, totally, the left was right. Nothing suspicious here, guys. Nothing weird. Totally correct. 100%. All right, moving on.
Didn't Gen Z Patriots channel get taken down? Is that right?
No, he changed the name of it.
Oh, what is it now?
I know it's back to Gen Z Patriot, but like he ran into a bunch of problems with his school board.
Yeah, I remember that. That
so
was
that,
like
yeah.
right before. If you may have noticed, I took like a really big absence from like.
Yeah,
all
no,
of these-
I noticed that you weren't commenting on my videos, and I'm like, this is sus.
I know I was
I
forming a
miss
team a little while back, but then I was banned, and then everything went to heck, it sucks
You
because I
were
was
getting
rapidly growing.
big though. You were
Yeah,
going
I
on
was
like,
almost
what?
like 1,000 subs, like within probably a month, 2 months. I mean, it was like not long at all, and then all of a
You
sudden
were
YouTube's
going
like,
on
no,
like
we can't have that.
8,000 subs right before you got banned. It
Here's
was
the problem too.
nuts.
I didn't even get banned for something I did that week. I got banned for a meme that I uploaded like months back. So it's like they had, and I think it was manual. It looked like they were just targeting my channel. Like, how do we
Yeah,
get rid of this guy?
You had good content too, and really regular content.
I am glad to say I am growing again. I am growing. YouTube has done some shady stuff to my account, I'm pretty sure, because like I'm having trouble like commenting. But I got tricks up my sleeve for a lot of that. But
This guy knows the ins and outs of the YouTube algorithm better than the
Yeah.
people who designed it.
I've literally found like, and I would share my tricks with some of you guys, not on stream, maybe if you're in my Discord and whatnot, because there are certain things that I've noticed that almost like so YouTube algorithm, real fast, it targets like certain words and letters, but if there's certain things you can do to like fool it, so then it allows you pretty much post wherever you want. It can target still, but there's ways around that.
You mind teaching me that?
Yeah.
I'm stuck at 666 subscribers.
Okay, and there's
Yeah, okay, we need one person from the chat to go sub to Abel's channel. His link is down below. We need to fix the current sub count.
I could do that, but like it'd be funnier if I did.
Well, then near my ban, right? So near the end of my like channel, my first channel that I did, near when I a couple like I guess weeks beforehand, they removed like 100 subs from my channel. So I had like 100. I was like I think I had 800 or
I remember
900.
that. You were like,
And then
you gained
I
it
uploaded.
on
So I'm like, I was
super
looking at the
huge number.
stats. I was like doing math on how I can grow my channel a bit, and then it's like, oh look at that, minus 100 like that same day. Thank you, YouTube. It's like, that's great. Nothing like unsubbing people.
They
like, oh, no, you don't
unsubbed
wanna
me
listen to that.
from your channel one time, and the problem was I checked your channel so often that I got unsubbed and then I resubbed immediately.
YouTube's like, no, I don't think you would like this content. How about Joe Biden or maybe Kamala Harris's channel? You like that? No, you
Hold
don't want to
on.
watch that.
You know what? I actually
They're
so
so
I
popular,
had
the dislikes off.
when Biden got elected, I blocked the White House's page. I blocked and I did a lot of things to like
Mm.
government profiles because I did not
On
want to
YouTube
deal with them.
creators, too.
And then a few days later, it showed that I was subscribed to them, and I was like, "Wait a minute, I blocked you." And then I had to do it all over. I think
Oh
it
yeah,
had been
on
for a whole week.
my YouTube channel, I did that with the YouTube creators account. I'm like, blocked. Please don't find my channel. But yeah, anyways, sorry about that. Don't mean to derail the main topic. We can move on.
At this point, that's anytime you have me in any conversation, it gets derailed quickly.
Sometimes with me too.
Abel, my friend saved your channel.
Thank you. Now I just need 110 so I can go to 777.
Progress, making it.
Actually, I need two. Once I get two more, I'm gonna screenshot that as well.
No, it'd be crazy. I should sub your channel.
I just realized what that is.
I'm on BitChute because I don't like YouTube any longer. YouTube's kind of painful.
Well, YouTube has it out for him.
Yeah, they hate me so much. Don't know why.
Me stuck down here in the 100 region.
Me stuck here. In
Eventually,
the
YouTube's gonna hate my guts.
You guys are all complaining about like 100, having 1,000. I got 20 people over here.
It probably has something to do with
Yeah,
me though. Every
20.
time they would like temp ban me, I would like come back with a meme and then like continuously trash talk them. It's like that, they had to be like in the background like, dude, this guy's gonna get banned and he just doesn't care. I'm like, darn right, I don't care. Ban me, suckers. I'm here to speak the truth. You don't like it. I'm sorry. It's just not sorry.
I kind of took that approach to my first couple of years of high school. I'm kidding, guys. I
What's
only
going on with the abortion thing though? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
What was
Continue what you were saying.
This stream is so getting taken down.
Yeah, you know what? Hold on. Let me just. Yeah, this great. Yeah, we've already kind of crossed the line.
But at least YouTube a lot of time, at least with my streams, YouTube doesn't really even with my first channel streams, they don't care about streams too much. I actually don't think I've ever had a stream taken down. Videos on the other hand, they analyze better.
YouTube for
Well,
like
as long as you're small enough or you're not saying enough things that you don't like.
Well, I think it's also got some. See, I think the other issue, I think the other thing with the algorithm is streams are longer, right? So it, I think, takes a lot longer for a process, and I don't trust the algorithm 100%. So I think it's kind of buggy, and I'm thinking if you do stream, it takes way longer. It kind of glitches out a bit, and it just kind of gives up. With videos, though, usually 2 minutes, 10 minutes long, it can scan through that a little bit better. Yeah. So what's going on with the Roe v. Wade thing, though, or whatever?
Oh, this is Axel's opinion on streams getting taken down.
The only time they take down streams. Oh yeah.
No, I've seen a few streams taken down.
Gen Z had one taken out, didn't he? The Trump one.
Oh yeah, I think he actually did.
Yeah, it was the one in Florida. I remember that one.
Yeah.
Fun fact. He streamed on Trump. He streamed Trump's rally in Ohio 1 year ago today, I believe.
Yeah, I remember, and that one got taken down too.
Yeah, I know.
Because he always tries to stream the rallies, and they always get taken out.
Yeah.
Because YouTube hates Trump.
Oh wait, when does this Roe versus Wade verdict come in? Because
that's another thing that I've kind of been talking about through the stream is they literally have about a week to release it. About week to 2 weeks, because their term ends the first week of next month, and they have to rule on all outstanding cases that they've heard this term. So the Dobbs case decision will come out within the next few days. The thing is, I think they're holding it back as long as possible to just delay the inevitable anarchy that is going to arise after that.
You thought that summer 2020 was bad. This is gonna make peaceful protests look like tea parties, to be quite honest.
It's gonna be the summer of double love, because remember summer love, now we're just gonna get that like times 2. It's gonna be like cities are gonna be burned down.
Love squared?
There's
No,
freaking
just
dragon
give
unleashed
Kyle
on the cities.
just give
It's gonna be
Kyle
working now.
Rittenhouse a minigun. He'll fix it.
There you go.
And
I also played
honestly,
Doom.
he did good enough with an AR-15. Let's leave him there with it.
No,
He shredded
No,
the
no,
air
no,
though. He
no.
got rid of it.
I think we should bolster the firepower, Abel.
Okay,
man,
AK-47.
M60.
There you go.
No,
There you go.
M60 is the perfect one.
Yes. Give him
we
a
gotta like
chopper.
he also has to like bulk up a lot. He's like Rambo.
That's a good one from Cameron.
Summer of
No,
compassion.
okay,
Yeah.
this isn't an attack on Kyle.
Summer of empathy.
I've just seen the photos of him, and he's gained a lot of weight.
Oh yeah.
But that's it's obviously because of all the stress that he's been put under. It's all the
Well, at
stress.
least that means, if someone tries to attack him or push him over or something, it's just not
It's
going
not
to
going to
work.
be as easy.
Yeah, it's
Have
not
you
gonna
seen
be
his
easy.
bodyguards? Ain't nobody getting near him.
Oh, actually, I didn't even know he had bodyguards. I mean,
Oh,
smart
he has a
move.
full team with him all the time. Because
Oh,
yeah.
what leftist wouldn't want to kill him now?
Oh, I mean, they were like straight up like talking
No.
threats. I actually did a video on that. a
Oh,
while back.
wouldn't want to kill him? None of them.
And they were
So-
talking about on YouTube's like CNN comment section. They're like, they want all the bad things they want to like do to Kyle. I'm like, seriously, YouTube? How about FBI? Where are you guys at? Like, are you guys doing a job? Like, are you guys still employed over there? Like, what are you doing?
Well, to be fair, they're the ones who let Kenosha happen, so I don't think they give a
Yeah.
fuck enough.
You had an
No,
FBI,
I
like,
was
spy
at a
drone.
Turning Point USA event last year. Kai was there, and a journalist had went up to him asking him questions. They kicked him out.
I mean, and the problem with that is the FBI thing, right? So spy drone, like I love how I remember watching the trial and hearings, and everyone's like, "Oh wow, that's crazy! Like this is crazy. We have footage." It's like, does no one care about the fact that there's an FBI spy drone over like Kenosha? Like, hello, does that not
Like
sound weird?
while riots were going on too.
It's like we got a UAV and they're just like spying. They're just watching the show. It's like, are you eating popcorn?
to be
Like,
fair,
Another thing
I'm
to
not
ask is
surprised they
why
have a
does the F-
UAV.
Why does the FBI have access to a military drone?
and why is it over like
the FBI got it?
Kenosha?
Yeah.
Why is it over Kenosha? Shouldn't that be, I don't know, like anywhere else? You know?
Wait, how many
And
kills
that's
do you
over the
need to get a
US.
UAV again? I forgot.
Exactly.
3
Five.
kills. No, you only need 3. In
I thought it
advance,
was 5.
No.
It may depend on the game. In some, it
Yeah.
might be 3.
in
I
Black
think
Well-
Crowder.
in Black Ops, it's 3. Yeah,
But
those
it's Crowder
3 were the
that
Weaver
made-
family.
I
That was the
believe it
Weaver
was-
family.
I believe it was
Minus
Crowder
5.
that made the point though. That shoot, that they might have the footage if they're like, who knows how many spy drone like UAV things they got overhead, right? Like if they have footage of Kenosha, who knows? Do they have footage of the January 6th, apparently Armageddon worse than Pearl Harbor and apparently
Oh, there's
9/11?
no shot that they
like-
don't. I mean,
like-
the whole thing was staged from the beginning.
I love also I didn't watch much of the January 6th hearings because no one's watching them and because it's just all like fake.
It's garbage.
Mhm.
But
They-
people
They're
were bringing up
falling faster than
well,
like
apparently
the-
they were from they brought up how
Oh,
there's
God, it's
magnetic
censored.
doors. Means they had to be open from the inside, which just furthers like everyone's point who's got a brain, who's logical. It's like, yeah, it doesn't look like insurrectionists, really did anything. And you might want to look into this like
Come on,
inside, like
Well,
like,
let's look at it
doors.
this way. The Capitol is protected by glass that can stop 50 caliber rounds from
But some
Russian
dudes-
vehicles.
But some
The
dudes
doors are basically vault doors
Mhm.
with magnetic locks. There are blast doors inside of the Capitol in case of a nuclear strike that can stop a shockwave from a nuclear bomb. It's a
Yeah.
fortress. The White House is even more securely locked down. So
someone's
the
doing their
only
job
reason
wrong.
they got in was because they were let in.
Well,
All you have to do is look at the schematics of the
I
building.
always bring up that Antifa was actually up there, or actually, yeah, it was Antifa was up there, and all the lefties were like, no, I don't know, what evidence are you talking about? It's like I got literal things here showing that they were up there, literal photos and groups, people who were confirmed to be Antifa, and you're just like, nah, I don't know what you're talking about. It's like, yeah, of course you don't know what I'm talking about because you don't care.
It's rules
they
for
don't
thee,
care,
but not for
right?
me.
Oh yeah. And I always joke around like, it's like from the leftist perspective,
I'm
the
just
way
curious
they-
where Ray Epps is at.
Listen,
Yeah.
he's somewhere, okay? He's somewhere. We'll never know where. That's all we need to know, apparently.
I'm gonna be honest. Considering this stream's already getting taken down, I'm gonna go full uncensored mode. I'm not. There's like an 100% chance there were feds at the January 6th kerfuffle.
You can always tell because they're buzz cut,
Yeah.
white, like.
And remember the
buzz
Remember
cut
January
look
6th
like
thing?
shades, and they look like built. It's like I don't know how you
Yeah,
even blend in.
does anyone remember like the Remember January 6th?
Oh yeah. The
All
total
the
group of
dudes,
feds. They
they-
all had the same haircut, same
Oh, yeah.
sunglasses.
Yeah.
If you look at their pants, their guns are profiling on their pants. They don't even know how to conceal a handgun.
I'm like, how does any like criminal get fooled? Like, oh, that guy's totally legit. Like, he's with us. He's definitely into whatever we're doing. Like, they're so obvious. I don't know how anyone can get fooled. Be like, that guy's totally, a Fed. Like, he's 100% a Fed. There's no way. There's no way. They all look alike. It's like I don't.
It's because everybody who can rationally think is on our side.
Oh yeah.
One other thing I will say is not to be that rude towards conservatives, but with the people who look exactly the same, they're all in their 20s. They're all built. Most of your conservatives are going to be overweight, especially the older crowd and the younger crowds.
That's true. Like
Still
To a
trying to
certain
work on
extent,
it.
that's true.
I mean, in the way though, all right, the left like depict in like a man was, I guess, Trump was on a horse, and there was an army of MAGA supporters, and on the back of the horse was Vlad, and he said, "Make America Great Again," and then they charged up on the to the building and overthrew the government, and it was, oh my gosh, it was an epic battle. Like that's how like they think. It's like that's not even how it went, even close. But the literal like drawing connections and having like to make this a whole thing it's insane.
Like we gotta. Does anyone have any photo? Like I remember seeing a photo of the Capitol like up in flames during the Summer of Love. Few
Oh,
summers
now
ago.
we can't talk about that. I'll have you
that
know.
was I think
That
that
can
was
happen.
New York, and it was at the same time as the leftists on the 29th of June tried to storm the White House during Trump's speech.
Wait
Like,
a
that
minute.
was an actual that
I will have you know
nobody talks about that, but that was an actual thing that happened.
Well, because
I'll have you know that our Fuhrer is not. I'll have you know our Fuhrer will not tolerate such insolence. Okay, how dare you? How dare you?
will not
Mein
tolerate
Fuhrer
such
can
lies.
suck ammo.
I mean, I've always brought that up. Like, does anyone remember when they like literally were surrounding the White House and the police to keep them back, and they even tried to like storm?
And the only
Isn't
person
that
who
the same
regularly-
time where Trump went onto the bunker and then the next
Yeah,
day
because
he
the
went to
Secret
church?
Service was
Oh, yeah.
afraid that they were going to get through the front gate.
Oh, I remember that because I had friends say like, "Oh, Trump's such a scaredy cat." Because
Guys,
he's
it's
going
mostly-
into
Yeah,
a
no, they
bunker.
mocked him. They mocked him for it, but when there were nobody ever played footage of what was outside.
Yeah, there were
What was
crowds.
outside was an army of violent, angry leftists who were all dressed in black bloc. They were
Violent,
throwing
angry
Molotovs at the
leftists
front
means
guards. They were hitting the police that were there. That was an insurrection.
Have you know that it was a mostly peaceful, fiery protest? Mostly peaceful. Okay, there were obviously cars and buildings on fire, but it was mostly peaceful, guys. Mostly
Yeah, come
peaceful.
on, it was
Summer love.
mostly peaceful, you guys.
I mean, they
Why
were
can't
just
you say
everywhere. You could like walk outside and hear the screams of peace. It was peaceful.
Yeah. You could
And
also
the
hear.
stupid thing is the only person
Tears of
in the
joy.
mainstream who still talks about that is Tim Pool.
Yeah,
Tim who?
yeah. That's like a lot of right wingers. Seem to hate Tim Pool. I don't agree with him on everything.
I don't know what people's problem with him is.
I like a lot of what he
It's because he's in the
liberal, but
center and he doesn't pick a full side.
I mean, I don't know if
who-
we can say it's really sinner though. 'Cause, technically yes, he is, I guess, sinner. But like, if you see what a lot of
10
the
years
things
ago,
he's not
he was
really
sinner.
sinner. I mean,
Nowadays-
Wait,
sort of.
hold on. Did Tim Pool work with Joe?
Rogan.
Joe Mama.
Oh my
Atta
freaking
boy.
You're out of
cringe.
Oh,
Cringe.
come on.
And you're banned.
Yeah. Well, there goes.
Oh, I'm sad.
The stream is definitely getting taken down now after that cringe comment by
Shut up,
comment.
shut up.
You know what?
I'm
I'm going to delete my YouTube channel just so
you
was
can't
horrible.
handle the cringe.
I still got you though, bro. I'm gonna hold that.
You didn't get
against you.
me. You got it.
I thought he was actually going to say Rogan, and then he's just like.
I
"Bomb." I'm
thought
like,
it was
"No,
gonna be
man."
Obama.
Joe Mama.
God fucking damn. Joe Biden.
We have to go
Uh,
bomb
must
drop.
become-
Yeah,
It sucks because the only person who regularly brings up 5-6 is Tim Pool.
No.
And like, if one person's doing it, no matter if he has twice the viewership of CNN on a regular basis, it's still just not going to reach that many people.
You know what's funny is
I'm gonna be honest, I had
have
no
you guys
idea
ever
who
watched
Tim
the movie
Pool was.
Demolition Man? Have you guys ever watched that movie called Demolition Man? It's
No.
got
No.
Stallone. No? Okay, it's literally like society in 2022 where like cops don't want to do anything. They're so afraid of like this criminal that was frozen in ice and whatnot.
Oh,
until
yeah,
they
Oh,
get
is
like
that is that
That's no.
It's got
What
Stallone.
you call it? It's
Is it
Demo
It's called,
Man.
Arnold
it's called
Schwarzenegger?
Demolition Man.
No, it's
No,
called
no,
Demo
it's
Man. I thought you said the Militia Man.
no Demolition Man.
Oh,
Demolition.
okay, yeah, great.
It's
With
got
Sylvester
Stallone.
Stallone.
Is that
Yeah,
is,
and
no Sylvester Stallone?
Wesley
Yes, I have
and
seen
and
that
Wesley
Yeah,
movie.
Wesley. Yeah,
Snipes.
Snipes. Literally, I was watching. I'm like, you know what? It's terrifying, but this is actually becoming reality. It's maybe a little bit nicer somehow, but it's becoming reality. Like cops are so
Well,
scared
it's
to
a
do
little
things.
bit
No,
nicer.
I mean, yeah,
I-
the old age thing.
I
They
even
had
It's one
uploaded
of those
body
movies
armor.
that's actually aged very well.
I
Like,
uploaded
back
the
then,
freedom
it was just
from
kinda
my
dated.
Oh,
Yeah.
BitChute channel where
we
I'm
have the
mainly at.
movie.
And it's
We have the
great.
movie expert in the stream. Everyone,
Yes,
Uncommon.
bow down to me, peasants.
the ultimate
I've watched
authority on
5
movies. You cannot
movies.
question
I have
his
watched
opinions because
5
they're
movies.
all right.
Okay,
I
Yes.
thought his name said Kami, and then I thought it
excuse
said
me. I have
Corny,
watched
and then
5
it's Cameo.
movies. I've watched 5 movies.
I mean, whatever
from
floats your
Skyline.
boat, I
I am
guess.
the boss. I know movies.
I also
Fight,
You need to watch. The only movie you need to watch is like The Patriot. That's like the only movie you need to watch, and then just watch like that.
hey, yes,
Like the rest of your life.
Patriot
That's all
for the
you need to
win.
watch.
I also
Terminator 2.
I also found this one video of a while back.
Thoughts on Morbius?
It's literally a joke. There's this guy. So you guys remember the pulse shooting thing, right? You
what?
guys know what I'm talking about? It's
The
called the
pulse-
pulse shooting.
The one in Florida with the
Yeah, I believe it's called the gay bar.
I remember
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
You went to a gay bar?
there's like engineer, right? This engineer. Literally, I uploaded this on my bitch. This guy, big brain mode. He a ballistic shield. It's not a ballistic. It's not actually. It's ridiculous, but it's a rainbow flag. I want to post that actually, or put that in the private chat just so you guys can see what I'm talking about.
Do
I need to
It is
to be real.
some of the I encountered it and I'm like, watch this. I'm like, cringe. I am actually like,
That's awesome.
dude, that's not going to stop like anything. It's not going to stop on. I don't like.
let's take a look at this.
It's like, oh,
That
this could
would-
stop everything. It's like, no, that's going to like fail miserably. But okay,
What
you-
in
Gonna
the
stop
hell
on
is
Nerf.
this?
That maybe
doesn't
stop
look
like BBs.
That-
Like a BB
The media
gun.
was
The only
praising it as
advantage
a
this
freaking, like-
has is it's deployable.
Yeah.
Here, let me share this so that everybody can see this.
That wouldn't stop like a 22. Like even like a 20. That wouldn't stop a 22.
Maybe
At
this
first,
is
I thought.
pathetic.
At first, I thought it was cool the way it unfolded. Then I realized it
Student
was just a
creates
bunch of.
ballistic shield.
Imagine
realized
walking
it was
around with
like-
that and it's just like waving around and flailing. Like,
Okay. So you know what you've created here? You've created a couple of sheets of tin metal that
No, you
maybe
created a
can
target.
stop
Attached by
like
door hinges.
maybe can stop 22 shorts. Is heavy, is bulky, and is going to slow down your movement.
That wouldn't
yeah.
stop 9mm hollow point. I'm
It's-
gonna be honest.
I'm like,
No,
dude,
no,
that's
I,
not
I,
stopping
a
anything.
380 would go right through that. Like, no,
I
like,
think
seriously,
anything over like
this
I
is
think-
this is a 380. That would go
Yeah.
straight through
Hey,
that.
guys, keep in mind, this is supposed to be an engineer student. We're doomed.
Wait, hold on,
We're
hold
just
on. Hold up
made.
that 380.
There
You don't
are
even-
enough
you don't even-
gaps
you don't
in that
even
thing.
need
This is
that.
you
You could
cut
just push
nine.
him
This is you
over.
cut 9 sheets of metal apart. You put some cloth and some hinges on it, and you
I'm saying
call it a
that's-
shield.
If that's
No,
the best an
that's-
engineer student can do, there's no words. There's no
Like,
words.
Wait,
It's not
no,
even that
that's
good of a
the-
look. It's welded on. It's not screwed on. It's not even that good of a weld.
Oh my god, I didn't actually realize that until. Oh my, that's horrible welding. That's
Wait, what
actually.
if-
I
I
know.
have,
if
a,
this is an
I have a
actual
friend
genius
who's like an
move?
apprentice in a welding shop who could do a better job
Yeah,
than that.
I know.
Is
I
that,
know a bit of
is
one
that
that's
3x5? Like
That wouldn't
uh,
stop. That wouldn't even stop.
piece-
Like
Dude, who welded that? That's
to be
like,
accurate, that wouldn't stop 223.
I've seen like
you could
amateur
no,
students
Any
do better
rifle
welding. That's
caliber is going
horrifying.
straight through that.
Yeah.
9mm is going straight through that. There's an
A
argument
soccer
to be
ball
made
would
that it will
destroy it.
stop 22s and maybe a slow-moving subsonic 45, but nothing that has a velocity higher than 9mm
And here's
is
the other
going to.
thing:
I would.
is
I
he's
stop
working
that.
with the police apparently to make this.
What?
Yeah,
Oh, the
literally,
police
he's
were
like, I
probably just
verified this with
trolling
the
him.
police. He literally is like, he's like, I'm making a shield so people can like go on gay pride parades essentially. An engineer student. This is an engineer student, by the way. And he's like, I'm working with the cops to make sure nothing, so both people can be safe, so both can't go through this. It's like,
The engineering,
bruh,
the
what?
engineering feat that's done here is that he made it foldable and collapsible.
Yeah.
That's the extent to the genius here.
Whoa, now this
What?
guy is innovating here. Okay,
I could
It's
destroy
easy
that with
to
a baseball bat.
conceal.
I'll have you know this is going to totally get rid of this. This will overthrow like all guns and rifles. Okay, this shield right here is the evolution of
No.
weaponry.
We're going to a state like the movie Dune, where everybody has to revert to using blades to get through these kinds of
At
things.
least they got shields though. At least they got
You don't
shields.
even need a
It
blade. You
works.
could just have a soccer ball and kick it at him. And
Yeah,
and knock him
that
over.
would work. He would fall right over.
Such bad design. It's
I'm
hilarious.
gonna be even more honest. I could take a baseball bat to that, and if I just
It-
hit
by the
all
way,
the hinges.
I just
If you
want to
hit
put.
the right spot, it would probably break a chunk
Well, and
off.
here's the thing.
Yeah.
Imagine this real fast. You're in a crowd. Someone starts shooting, and you pull out this like box, and it like flails open, and you're trying to like move around. Like this thing is waving everywhere. Like the amount of like movement, it's going to like expose you to like all sorts of weak spots. And not only that, but it's especially in
however,
the metal, it's not going to work.
However,
Maybe it's a confusion tactic.
Yes,
Like imagine you
the
run up to
rainbow.
that guy and he just
Yeah.
is like he's
The
like
rainbow
stand
gun.
back and he just flips that out. Like what would you do? You'd be
He
like,
pulls a rainbow
what?
flag shield on you, and
You'd
you're
be
just
like,
like,
what?
"Whoa, that's insane, Captain
He-
America."
Yeah,
He's the gay Captain America.
Yeah, Captain
Also,
LGBTQ.
because this
That's
is
modern
clearly
Captain
some
America
kind of,
in the
this
new
is
comics.
clearly some
Captain
kind of
Gay,
spray
come on.
paint or powder coat job. Could you not do that over the cloth part?
It's so cringe. It really is. Not only
it's
is it
not even
cringe,
well
it's
made.
painful. It's,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
No,
At least, if
horrible.
it,
horrible.
at least if it was like well made,
But
I
guys,
could be like,
we
well,
gotta
you know, it's
keep in
cool.
mind that the media is praising this guy for doing this. It's such a feat. It's amazing and brilliant, stunning and brave, guys. We gotta.
So if I made a cardboard box shield and sprayed rainbow colors on it, would that get me on the news then?
probably.
Yes,
I mean, you
yeah.
just gotta send your ticket
Don't
into
forget
CNN.
to wear a shirt that says protect trans kids, a
Yeah.
hat that says
Yeah.
BLM,
So who wants to go to Home
a
Depot
Ukrainian
with me,
flag,
get some
and,
Power Wheel engines, and then create a miniaturized tank with some sheet metal aluminum.
Yeah, it's
I
ridiculous.
counted that, and I think it's 5 sheets of metal across and 3 going down.
Oh, CBS right now is calling calling for Supreme Court decision on Roe v. Wade could come Thursday, Friday. So they're estimating Thursday, Friday for the Roe v. Wade
I
thing.
think they're gonna push it back into next week.
Well, and here's the thing.
To
So
just
Roe v.
delay it as long as possible.
Well, and here's the
They're
thing.
gonna
about Roe v.
wait
Wade.
till autumn, so then they can call it the autumn of love. They
Oh,
gotta
yeah,
wait
there
for
you
this
go.
reason.
Well,
That way,
and
that way they can keep the same. They can keep the love brand of the title.
Yeah.
Because I don't. Let's be honest, they're not creative enough to come up with another word for love.
Yeah, they're not even. They don't. I don't think they have any brain cells. To be truthful,
Oh,
they hide
here's-
pods in mind.
Captain
Captain
America
America
2. That's
Yes.
a good one.
No,
That's probably-
about the shield.
The LGBTQ.
I thought he was talking about the movie because he said
Of
thoughts
course,
on
of
Morbius.
course, you think he's talking about the movie.
Well, yeah.
Here's what I think. I have a prediction on the Roe v. Wade stuff, right? So Roe v. Wade, I think the good sign is they haven't called it off yet. Usually, whenever there's a protest, the Supreme Court or whoever will be like, okay, next day, yeah, we're quitting, guys. Totally not doing that. Please stop protesting. So I think if they've held on this long, I don't believe they're actually going to give up. I could be wrong, but I think if they're holding on this long, they're just buying enough time to maybe try to calm down
preparations in order.
a bit, and then they're going to launch it and maybe flee the country for a bit because everyone's going to want to
Well,
attack
Oh
them.
no,
they
people are not
already-
coming down. Have you seen what a group called Jane's Revenge has been doing? They've
Oh,
been
yes.
firebombing-
Firebombing,
Oh, wait, you
firebombing
guys gotta
abortion
see this.
clinics.
Hold on.
They
I-
did
The
one right
irony-
here in
The
California.
irony of Jane's revenge. Jane became an anti-abortion, anti-abortion, pro-life lady later on down the road. She was like big. So if you guys don't know, so she apparently was a big fan at first of abortion. She helped push to make abortion kind of what it is, and then later on she couldn't live with what was on her mind from
Yeah.
what I understand of the story.
How she
And she
contributed
later
to
and then
the
she
murder
became
of
an
children.
anti-abortion person. So they're literally using an anti-abortion person for pro-abortion agenda. What?
They're not that intelligent to realize that though,
I know.
and most of them
It's the
probably
same
don't
thing
even
with
know
Planned
that because they won't
Parenthood.
do the research to find it out.
Hey,
It's
two
like-
connections is a lot of connections for
Yeah,
that.
it would be
debate, to
like-
fair.
It'd be like the Republicans later on, like in a couple years from now, using Joe Biden as a pro-Republican, icon or
No,
something. Like,
no,
I'm
no.
so
I don't
Republican.
see
They
why
would be
not. He's a
using Mitt
terrible
Romney.
person.
hey, well, some already sadly use Mitt Romney.
They're gonna be using Bush in a couple years. Like, oh yeah, George Bush was smart. He was right. He wanted us to go fight in some foreign wars. You know,
What's the
he
video
wanted,
that?
no, he didn't want us to
Hammer has?
invade Iraq for WMDs. He wanted us to invade Iraq for women's rights. Yeah.
It's quite ironic. It's just ironic.
Did you
It's
see his
wow.
Freudian slip where he was
Yeah,
like
that
complete
was-
unjustified invasion of Iraq? I mean Ukraine.
Maybe he was talking about his dad. Who knows?
Do you guys see the mysterious wolfman-like creature captured in Texas Zoo? Surveillance
I
camera.
I
saw that.
actually saw that image.
No,
yeah.
Yeah, that was weird.
I
It's
am
like-
no.
It's
and
a
then it
furry.
escaped.
It's a furry.
I
Hunting
would not be
down.
surprised if it was a furry.
That's that one freedom speech from Demolition Man I was talking about earlier that I just put in.
Hey,
the
I think if people
Here's
want to
check
be
out later.
furries, that should be
Hold-
fine.
hold
But
on,
I think it
hold
should
on,
also
hold
be
on.
legal
You
to
have a right to be a
hunt them.
furry in the USA. I'll have you know.
No.
But you also have the right to be hunted as said animal.
yeah, okay.
Can we sell furry permits?
Yeah,
Yes,
yes.
outside of outside of
The
furry
hunting,
convention.
still hunting
Hold on.
licenses outside of a furry
But hold on,
convention.
United States Enclave.
Huh?
You need to realize it's
Gotta
not.
keep the population under
You gotta
control.
learn how to say demolition and militia because they just sound.
I'm not saying militia and demolition.
They sound
No.
the same when you.
Oh,
say
I see. I'm putting an
sound
A
the
almost.
same.
I see. I'm saying it's a little sloppy. I get what you're saying, actually.
You're making
yeah.
fun of his
Demo.
accent. You're racist.
Demolition. Yeah,
Yes,
I'll
I
have you
am
know.
racist. I knew that.
You're against illiterate people, and I will have you know that's not allowed on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
anyway,
highly offensive.
Deleted. We're sending the police
I'm
to your
offended.
house.
You know what? We should delete this when it's over because
The
either
inner
it's getting
pride is-
taken
No,
down.
I'm leaving it up. I'm seeing how long it lasts.
Yeah, just see
All
what
right,
happens.
hold on.
I'm taking
Hold
bets
on.
on it.
Susan, I'm just gonna be completely honest here. This isn't even the real Comrade Kalashnikov.
If this is going to
I'm
be
just
banned,
some
Susan,
guy
I
who, like,
think you
put the
suck.
name
So.
here. It's not even really me.
You
I
think
swear.
Susan's watching this?
She's gonna be.
Yeah.
He's watching
Susan, if
this
you're
and
watching this,
he's
I just want you to
going,
know you suck. Your platform sucks. The left sucks. I don't care. Ban me.
Susan, I can say I don't
It's
appreciate
easy
you
for to
trying to
say. You've
find
been
my own
banned
logo.
twice.
I have a squeaky clean record here. I don't want to get banned. once.
Thanks for coming on my channel and saying that.
No.
Don't
We'll
ban
get you
CPSA. He has nothing to do with this.
It's the old kamikaze tactic. Takes out your channel, so then he'll become bigger than yours.
Yeah, when
No,
CPUSA
he doesn't have to
gets,
try to do that.
when
He's done it
CPUSA
multiple
gets-
times.
CPSA, listen, think of it like this. Think of it like this. If you get banned, you can just join me and the other exiled people on BitChute.
That's true. I'll probably get more
I'm gonna be
subscribers.
honest.
Yeah.
I don't know what BitChute is. I use YouTube because I'm a pleb. To be honest.
My alt platform is Odyssey. There's nobody over there, which makes it great because I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the craziest freakouts of Roe v. Wade?
Yeah, I got a great freak out video right here.
I'm
This-
also
this
gonna put
made
my
all the
I have a
left
freak out
freakouts.
article, but it's for the Supreme Court decision.
okay. So there were pro-abortion people who entered the Catholic Church. By the way, plus
Oh, yeah,
reputation
handmade
towards the
stuff.
Catholics, because the Catholics they had like bouncers and they're like, we're not tolerating this. Boom, get out of here, kick them out.
Yeah,
It's like
wait,
we
who
don't
was that
care.
guy in like that church who stopped the shooting with handgun? I
Oh,
think he's
or
in
you
that.
mean AR? Wait, you mean in Texas or?
Yeah, no. Yeah, there was a guy. He had like a handgun in Texas, and he stopped.
Well, he had an AR, I think, right? Didn't he? Yeah, he had an AR.
An
He
AR?
It was an
stopped with
AR.
Yeah,
Okay, it may have been an AR.
I forgot
Why
what his
would
name
he
was.
be in that church?
But-
Like, why can't the right people be in the right places at the same time?
Listen, because every time they get demonized. I can't say it right now. Okay,
Demonized.
they get
Demonized.
like
A Catholic
executed. Yeah,
church
I don't know why I forgot how to say that word. It's what
Yeah.
happens whenever I talk about Democrats. They disrupt my brain or something.
We had so I should share this story. The day after what was it, the Jane's Revenge people started like firebombing
Of
abortion
love. Firebombing of love.
abortion of like
Yeah.
help
I would love
centers.
to do that.
And-
Susan, hold on. I'd like to. I would love to do that. I don't know.
In the name of love and acceptance.
Yeah,
as,
hold on.
as these people
CPUSA
do.
has finished his statement. This is an entirely new statement, not related to what he said. I would love to do that.
Do
Like,
what?
you can't ban me now, YouTube.
Oh.
No. Here's the tactic. So we have this thing here in California. It's called bear spray. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of that.
I've heard. I'm from New York,
Isn't
so I've
your
heard of
logo a
pepper
bear?
spray.
You know what bear spray is. Okay, so for those who are uneducated, bear spray is like this souped up, super powerful, super potent version of pepper spray
Okay.
that
And
they
it's
use on bears.
that you
I
use
thought it
on
was
bears.
shark repellent from like Batman. Yeah.
More or less. Anyways, this stuff
Democrat
is so
repellent.
powerful that it can like totally wreck your sinuses, right?
Yeah.
So here's the strategy. You go to one of these parades or where they're destroying stuff over the summer after this decision comes out, and they're you just hand them one of these things and they're like, use this. And rig it to accidentally depressurize a couple seconds after you hand it to
Accidentally.
them while you get away.
Yeah.
And then watch the whole crowd just disperse.
Well,
You're getting like your Joker.
Oh man, we're
getting
thinking about this
the
too much
Joker
though.
idea.
Just hand them the spray, tell them it's like cologne or something, and then they'll spray it on themselves and probably blind themselves. You know, that's how you just point at your
I don't
face.
think I don't think anyone would be that stupid.
It's the left.
I mean,
No,
They're that
they
stupid.
would definitely be that stupid, Cameron. Like hardly,
Yeah, I'm like, it's the left
hardly
we're talking
anybody
about here.
outside of New York, Montana, and California knows what bear spray is.
They literally think Joe's a freaking great president. Like that's how dumb they are. Like we're talking about like beyond.
They think
like,
that Joe.
level
To be
politics.
honest, if you ask them, my grandmother is pretty brainwashed, bit of a liberal, and like you can literally like I've gone up and I've asked like, hey, what do you think about the border crisis? Like, oh, it's not happening. I'm like, oh, what do you think about
it's not real.
Like what do you think about Kyle Rittenhouse? He's like, he killed a bunch of people. And I was like, well, what about all the
He killed
denies the
innocent black men.
Yeah,
Well,
they literally think that Kyle killed innocent black men.
Yeah.
Well, he did kill people, but they weren't innocent.
And he
No,
did
weren't
kill
black.
black people.
I was surprised because my grandma's actually pretty hardcore Democrat, but she was actually like glad with the verdict for the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. I was genuinely shocked.
Wait, wasn't the first one Joseph Rosenbaum?
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah, it was Rosenbaum and then
The Rosensteins?
the guy whose name I'm forgetting.
Look, if you guys want to know what actually happened, Joseph Rosenbaum was actually a great family man. Just look him up, Google Joseph Rosenbaum and 5 kids, okay?
Oh yeah, they definitely weren't. Yeah,
And you'll see the photos of his children, and that he was a great man too.
Oh, very, very great. Yeah, he was just beyond levels of great. He's Martin Luther King
No,
Jr.
look.
Reagan.
At least we can rest assured that he died happy doing what he loved the most, touching kids.
Yeah,
I thought it was
I heard
chasing
that
kids.
somewhere. Where I've heard that somewhere before. You said the same. I heard that. Where did I? Tucker? Was that Tucker Carlson? who said that?
No. It was.
No,
it was a
I think
Discord name.
Tucker said something about
Yeah.
he died doing what he loved to do, chasing
Yeah.
minors.
Yeah. Okay. I heard something like that somewhere before. Yeah.
I saw it
You know
first
what?
as a
Let me look it
Discord
up. Now
name.
I'm curious.
Can I just point out that, like, I've had conversations with leftists, and this is why I say talking to most leftists, like, it's like it rots your brain, like, it makes you dumber. And then
Yeah.
you talk to people who've got a brain, like I've talked to plenty of people, and then you start like, oh, okay, my IQ is going back up again. Okay, it's the left are so. I think some of them are dumb, and I think that some of them are plain dumb. It is painful talking because they just either don't care about the truth or they're just so dumb they can't understand the truth. It's wow.
Well, exactly. They're. I mean, because they exist in this neo-Marxist state where I was kind of talking about this earlier with the whole philosophical conversation we had for about an hour, where it's like these people they say whatever the hell they want, and they think that because they said it, it's now true.
And they want to kill you.
Well, it's like so they'll be like,
yeah.
and they'll be these are the
That's
same
kind of
people who are
out
like,
of the
oh,
blue, but that's also kind of
still
true.
this and that. And then it's like when they're like, oh, you guys are Nazis, and it's like, I'm sorry, you're a president. You've got presidents who've locked Asians in concentration camps in America, who've got ties to possibly the Nazi regime, and
Okay,
frankly,
I found the quote from Tucker.
and then you got LBJ, Lyndon B. Johnson, who is like racist
Dragged
as
us into Vietnam.
yeah, racist. LBJ is incredibly racist. Like he was like Detroit is. I think actually in one of his quotes he's basically saying Detroit is what he wants. It's like, and the Republicans are
Lyndon B.
about that.
Johnson assassinated
sorry,
President Kennedy.
Who founded the KKK? Oh yeah, the Democrats.
I did
okay,
a whole
I'm so sorry, yeah.
research paper on
Yeah.
the
Jim Crow. Who enacted Jim
I
Crow?
was
Oh,
down
oh
with
yeah,
Democratic
Democrats.
cabinet for sure.
Mm.
They don't give a shit.
Yeah, it's like yeah, exactly. It's like Republicans are racist, but yeah, you guys have done all these racist things. It's like weird. I don't know, huh?
But it's
Y'all
okay
want
when
to
we
hear
do
the
it,
quote from
guys.
Tucker?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Tucker?
What's the quote?
Tucker
Okay, so
Carlson.
this is what he said. A rapist called Joseph Rosenbaum died as he had lived, trying to touch an unwilling minor.
I like the Discord version better.
They're all pretty good. Just put them all up on one image and just post that on like leftist Reddit or something. See what
You
happens.
get banned in 30 seconds. I
Just
got
post it
into
on
an
Twitter.
argument. I got
Yes.
I got into
I don't
an
know about
argument
any
with
of
a
you guys on
leftist
here.
in
Are any of you
Reddit,
guys
and
on
I got
r/check
banned
off
for it. Reddit is
Right.
toxic.
Yeah, Reddit's terrible, but I am on Reddit for one reason: r/heckoffcommie.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
No, there's
I'm
one
on there for
subreddit.
memes.
There's one subreddit on Reddit that's worth being on, and it's accidental
Slash untold.
terrorism. It's the funniest shit ever.
accidental terrorism.
It's,
That's what
it's
I said.
look
That,
it
you know,
look
the
it up
FBI
if you
said-
haven't. It's absolutely hilarious.
You know, that's how you get away with it. The FBI might say, "Oh, you sent a bunch of mail bombs
Oh,
to a bunch of
I made
industrialists."
I made a
I was
brilliant.
just observing the
yeah.
lessons practiced on r/accidental terrorism.
Well, I made a brilliant meme, guys. I did. I actually invented kind of my own meme after inspiration
You
of
did
some videos I
something?
watched. Yeah, I did something for once. It's great. It's really an achievement. I don't know. Can I send this image somehow? Like, hold on. I think actually you can
You
see it.
don't.
Yeah, it's good though. It's good.
I'm kidding.
Here, where
I'm
let
a
me
nice
find
guy.
it. Post this right here, and you'll see it's Joe Biden falls off bike, and then you'll see the image. It's great. Just Joe falls
It's
off bike.
not found. This resource could
What?
not be found.
Don't you mean?
Oh, so
Joe
I
Biden?
actually made a meme of that a
Wait,
while
you can't-
back for Gen Z Patriot. I can
Wait, you
send
can't.
it.
Wait, see if you say
what I
can't
do.
find the image.
No, the link comes up not found.
For what? It's seriously? Oh, wait. What browser are you using?
Google.
I'm wondering. Did anyone else? Did anyone else see the link?
I didn't see the link. I'm not on Truth
Which
Social.
No,
let
is
me
it-
see,
okay.
Truth Social?
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
on Truth either.
Ah, shoot. Okay. Well,
Yeah, I'm not on there either.
I'll just explain it then. It's Joe Biden. So tagline, the text is Joe Biden falls off bike.
Oh no, is this the Trump one?
Well, and then it's got this guy with,
Trump
and it's
with the dirt
got a
bike?
Republican elephant image on the face, and then this guy's dusting off a book, and it's the 25th Amendment. Yes, Republicans dusting off the 25th Amendment. Darn right.
I don't think that so much the Republicans dusting off the 25th Amendment. I think it's the Democrats in Congress.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're like,
they're
we got
planning to kill Biden at this point.
Like, can we do it yet?
Oh wait, we
Well,
mentioned this beforehand. I'm gonna take the conversation.
You know why? So
Johnson
rumor
was
has it.
hired to kill
Hold on.
Kennedy. Lyndon B. Johnson is the reason that Kennedy is dead. George
I could
George
believe it.
Senior killed Kennedy. Like he was the one who fired the shot. That's just my opinion. It's
I don't know.
fact, you know.
I did a whole paper on that. I've been to the spot where he was shot. There's no
Same.
way that Oswald made that shot.
He could have made that shot.
No, he couldn't have.
Yes, he could.
Not
I've
with a
been to the
6.5
Union-
Carcano. No
Watch the
way.
movie JFK.
Yes, I'm
He literally
100%
have to
sure
be
he could've-
leaning out the window like this. How do you aim if you're like that?
Here, if you guys want to
He,
see,
he
okay,
was a Marine.
wait, comrade.
He
Okay,
was
so
a terrible Marine. He
I
couldn't hit
recommend
anything.
JFK, the movie, and they go through everything, and they explain like how it was pretty much it had to be more than one person, and that Oswald was using the weapon changed.
It
It
was
went
a
from like,
6.5 Carcano rifle.
it was a
It was an
Carcano, but
Italian
when it-
bolt-action rifle from World War II.
yeah, it was a Carcano, but then during when it all was taken away and whatnot, it changed to a Mosin like Nagant, I think it was, or something like that. It's like, and then here's the thing: is that the way the rifle fires? You have to basically it takes like really way too long essentially to charge it up and then fire the shot off. And with I think it was like 3 shots, there's no time to shoot all 3 of those shots.
I did. I'll send you guys the paper I did on this because I went through the math of the time. Because and not only that, there were more shots than just 3 shots. There were shots that hit the pavement and people saw them. So
yeah.
when you account for that, there were at least 4 shots, possibly more.
Hey,
And
does
Oz,
anyone
well, said he
remember
was a
that there
possum,
was like
so-
a woman who came forward who said like her dad had filmed the grassy knoll from
Wait a
a
minute,
different
CBSA,
angle?
are you saying
Yeah,
the magic bullet
Zapruder,
theory?
Zapruder film.
No, no, it wasn't
He
Zapruder,
saw
it was
one of
somebody
those
else.
shots hit the concrete.
Or you mean the
No, it
guy?
was a different person, and his tape of the event that clearly showed another shooter was confiscated by the U.S. government, and they're currently still suing to get it back.
Oh yeah, not only you want me to drive the nail home further in the coffin?
Do it.
When they did the autopsy of Kennedy, there were 3 generals in the room telling the morticians what they could and couldn't examine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, and here's the thing too. Is what was it? Oh yeah. Now Oswald, he said he was a posse. You know, he was just basically picked up. And if you believe that or not, you know, whatever. But JFK movie, for real, watch it. It's got Kevin Costner in it, a bunch of other great actors, and they basically it goes through the real thing stuff that happened. And now there was the great theory, CBS. Are you telling me you don't think the magic bullet theory could have happened? Are you saying that the bullet could have bounced off the guy's like inner bone and then bounced through another guy's
I'm
bone?
saying Oswald couldn't have gotten the shot in the general direction of the car in the first place.
I
making-
disagree. I disagree.
On
I
the
think
bullet
he could
theory.
have.
Bullet theory, magic bullet theory was given by I forgot one of the basically the guys who were examining it. They're like, oh, it could have been a magic bullet theory. It's like, no, it couldn't have because magic bullet theory is so dumb in the way you explained it. Like, it would have to bounce off people's bones and then like out through everyone in that car and like no.
Well, and here's the thing. You know what? The 6.5 Carcano, there were 2 things that were the Italian military ditched it for 2 primary reasons. The ammo was extremely soft, meaning that when it penetrated the body, it fragmented.
Oh yeah, true.
So that was actually what happened to Governor Connolly. He
But it
got
looked
shot
cool.
in the back. It fragmented and hit a bunch of different parts of his body.
Mhm.
That I can believe. What I can't believe is if it hit Kennedy, stayed together in one piece, hit Connolly, and then fragmented after it had already hit Kennedy in a bone.
Yeah.
Stuff has happened.
Another thing is that the Carcano was notorious in World War II for being wildly inaccurate because it
Yeah.
turns out when they rifled all the barrels in the machine shops when they were producing them, they rifled them the wrong way.
No,
And because of that, the twist was off and the bullets would fly off target.
Yeah, I got my own little theory here. I believe there were multiple people, and I believe this was supposed to be a lead up to the Cold War a little bit sooner. So if you watch it like history, right, and see what happened, the Great Depression, you know, first off, let's just start real fast. Great Depression, then you know the Great War, and a bunch of other crazy shenanigans kind of all fall on each other, and then America became really rich. And it's just a little bit suspicious that a little bit weird that multiple great crazy events happened really close together. And then later on down the road, we get, JFK. And then
Okay.
who did they blame, guys, for possibly killing JFK? It
Communist.
starts with an R and then it's with Russia. Okay, Russia. They blamed the KGB.
Ukraine.
Yeah, the Ukraine. Yeah, yeah. They blamed the Russians. And apparently, the Russians they ran out. They were like basically, if you look at the Russian side of things, they ran out and they're like, no, we can prove we did not do this, and here's why. But the Americans, I believe it's LGBT.
There's documented
was trying to
panic
say-
within the KGB when they were just rushing to find out if any of their agents had any
and
part
they-
in this.
And the KGB they draw up basically the whole entire thing. They said, listen, this is how we would do it, and this is why we couldn't have done it. And then I think LBJ. I'm getting all these letters, acronyms confusing. LBJ. He was like, if I remember correctly, he was trying to point the finger. A bunch of other people in the office were trying to point the finger and be like, we need to get in a war with them because they killed our guy. It's like,
Well, LBJ was a warmonger.
I
That's
believe
the
they're-
thing.
Well, hold on.
He
If
was-
I may speak. I truly believe that what really happened was, Kennedy was assassinated by the CIA at the behest of Johnson, so that he could become president and then escalate the Vietnam War.
He did say he would splinter
Again-
the CIA in 1,000 pieces or something like that. So
No. The CIA hated Kennedy. That he fired the director after the Bay of Pigs.
Yeah.
Which, if you look at the history of that idea, it wasn't actually the CIA director who came up with it. It was LBJ because he wanted a war in Cuba. He wanted a war in Vietnam. He wanted a war with the Soviet Union. LBJ he was a warmonger.
Well, and
And
look what
Kennedy
happened.
stood in his way because Kennedy wanted peace.
Well, look what happened. Following like after the chaos of JFK's death, we had the Cold War. Eventually, that came around. And that spawned Vietnam. That spawned all sorts of proxy wars and shady. We got to battle the communists. And in all these countries, Vietnam, Africa. We was an African war. We were back in African resistance groups or some of that. We're
one
back.
thing.
Grenada.
A lot
I
of people
think the U.S. should have gotten more involved in the Rhodesian Bush War, but we didn't.
Cold War, in my opinion, was World War III because everyone got involved. If you look at all the nations, it was mainly the Soviets and it was mainly the Americans. But if you look, you had China, you had the UK, you had a bunch of other our governments getting involved, helping support some side or the other. It basically, and if you look at Vietnam, it was quite frankly, a weapons manufacturing. We're going to update the weapons. We're going to war creates money, and war is a very profitable system because if you can cause war and you're making weapons, whatever, guess who's going to buy? Governments,
Well,
military.
guess how the
And
M16
to add
became
fuel
so
to the
popular.
fire, to add fuel to the fire, not Kennedy, LBJ's wife was the main stockholder in a company that the U.S. bought arms from.
Mhm.
So I'm not saying anything, but he did escalate the Vietnam War after that and bought,
It was Armalite. She was a main stockholder in the company that produced the M16.
Oh, you mean JFK? JFK's wife, or
Nope, LBJ.
No,
LBJ. Okay. JFK was he was trying to get us out of all that stuff.
She was the main stockholder in the company that produced the AR for the M16 for the military.
Reagan. We can even run up to Reagan, right? Up to that part of history. The Cold War was really, heavy during Reagan's administration. Guess what they tried? Remember what they tried doing to him? They tried killing him because he was trying to become peaceful. He was trying to say, did Gorbachev tear down this wall, right? Later on, him and Gorbachev became, best pals. It's weird that every time we have a president who's like, you know what, Russia, we should probably be friends. It's like, oh well, there's okay, someone go send someone, something happen, something shady needs to happen, to prevent that. JFK was also one of the first. He was actually the first president to put in a line directly to Moscow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's because the Soviets. You might not agree with a lot of things, but they have been open to peace. And every time we have, peace with our rivals, there's some group, I think.
It's because look at the doctrine of the Soviet Union and the internal documents. They were never planning on invading the West or attacking NATO. They were always bracing for an invasion from NATO.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. And I've never been to Russia. Maybe some of you guys have. Now, this is, grain of salt, but there's rumor that Russia's actually considered a republic themselves. And there's an interesting theory here and a rumor. Is it true or not? Don't know. Can't confirm. But take a rumor, grain of salt. Supposedly Russia is actually a republic. And there is some information that backs up. They have their main icon, one of their main logos is a two-headed bird. Basically, the idea is this bird has one fake face it puts on for show, and the other one's, really what it is. It's also one of the remnants of the Roman Empire, the Holy Roman Empire. And in their state, they have actually states themselves. Most of the states are considered.
Cut out.
Copy. Over.
Hello.
Oh,
where was I?
You ended at Roman Empire.
Roman Empire, and if you look at Russia, they have states themselves. Most of it is considered Russian, government controlled, but they have republics in their country. So there is some information to kind of.
Well, it's a republic so far as you can vote and stuff, but Putin's party wins every time.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is
sort of what the Democrats want to do here.
And I'm not, pro-Russia. I'm not pro, the government. I've never been there. I can't really, say, give my take on it. But there's some evidence to show that they might be, kind of republic, themselves. And a lot of the Democrat, supposedly peace, unity, this and that. They're trying to, target Russia. And it's probably because they're a rival. They also have a decentralized bank, if I remember correctly, which is interesting. One of the only countries, if not the only one that I can really name that has a decentralized bank. The Democrats, they hate Russia with a passion. They got to get them off the board.
Well, here's what I look at the conflict between Russia and the Democrats as. You have tyrannical nationalists versus tyrannical globalists. And those two mindsets conflict even more so than freedom lovers and tyrannical, like people who want tyranny.
Well, CBSA, you remember when everyone was calling me crazy because I was saying, listen, there's ties from the Democrats to Nazis, and I mean like actual Nazis, the swastika.
Well, it's not a crazy thing to say because there's written documentation of it.
Well, and then they backed. Still everyone calls me crazy because it's crazy. We can't believe the Nazis are still around. And then they back Ukraine, and we start seeing in Ukraine literal people with swastikas like tattooed on their arms, and they are in big festivals. By the way, Vice, leftist media, source talked a couple years back about how there's national, globally like Nazi parades they hold at these festivals in Ukraine, and everyone's like, oh, they're not Nazis. We need to help them against bad Putin. It's like,
All right, so I do need to correct that. There is one region that holds those beliefs because that is like the one region where a bunch of Nazis fled after World War II, and they have one military brigade there that's treated more like a militia, and it's the Azov Battalion.
Well, yes, but there are actually images of civilians and
right,
others.
Right. They're less of a military unit than they are a militia, but it's that one region.
Well,
so yes, it is true that they are there, but everybody acts on the right like it's this big old huge mass of everybody in Ukraine is a Nazi. It's not true.
I think there are more of them actually in that country than others. I think than many people would be led to believe. Yes, there are. You're right about the Azov battalion stuff, but there are images coming out, and again, information's being censored. But there are images that I have encountered now, proving.
What was the name of that channel?
Civilians,
there's one channel that like does a really good job of placing things that are happening in Ukraine and determining a lot of stuff.
Now
he does a lot of really good shorts. I don't know the name of the channel off the top of my head.
Talks. I don't believe the Nazis actually have the red circle thing. The red what is it, bandit. I think they're actually doing something smart now, where they're tattooing the swastika, because it's kind of like a cult for them, on their arm, and then they're covering it up, and they just kind of show it whenever they want. Because there's a civilian who's checking a vehicle, and it's like, that's where that guy's got a tattoo. He's got a tattoo of a swastika. Huh? That's a little bit weird.
Ukrainian.
Ukrainian,
a little bit
totally
suspicious.
Yeah, just a little bit funky. I don't know about that.
Again, it all depends on what region that guy's in too, because the storm of war means you can't easily place those, which is
and
why
I'm not saying,
to determine.
and I'm not trying to say that all Ukrainians are Nazis. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I think with the history of Ukraine, with the history of the Democrats, with the history of Nazis, and all these things kind of tied back in, I think these remnants of the Nazis.
Ryan Macbeth, that's the channel who I treat as the authority on matters like this, because he's really good at placing. Here, I'll link it in the actual. I'll just put it in the regular chat. Ryan Macbeth, this guy is really good. I don't agree with all of his politics, but he is really good about breaking down Russian disinformation and propaganda, and actually placing where things are happening in Russia and in Ukraine.
And the problem is, like, if you say this type of stuff, a lot of people like, oh, well, you're calling all Ukrainians Nazis? How could you? It's like, no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying they're all Nazis. I'm just saying I think there are more of them than we're led to believe, and I believe I think there's a stronghold of them in Azov, but I believe, or the part of the Azov battalion in a certain area, but I think there's actually a lot of them around that country, though, kind of spread out.
Why is it every time I have you on a stream, we always end up talking about Nazis?
Well, I don't know. Because
a little suspicious, don't you think?
Swastika intensifies. Bum, bum, bum. That sounds like something a Nazi would say.
Maybe that's why YouTube keeps deleting your channels.
I have something to say. The Nazis are good villains in movies.
That was almost a very bad take.
Someone's gonna clip that.
That's gonna be
goodbye, comrade.
Don't tell Braxton about this. He will clip that.
If you zoom in on
Braxton,
comrade,
come on, leave me alone, buddy.
Well, if you zoom in on comrade Kalashnikov's icon here, you can actually put a swastika. It's a swastika. You can see it right there.
No, shut up. Kick him out of the meeting.
Same for mine, question mark?
My secrets.
Joke's on you. I'm leaving anyways. And I do have to go. Have a good day, guys.
There, solve the problem.
9.
I think he meant
Oh,
me.
Wait, what is
I-
this?
Wait, I'm back.
He's
Oh,
speaking
never mind.
German now.
Trailers have been heard.
Ich
My days.
spreche ein bisschen Deutsch.
Oh, what the fuck?
I love my hot dogs.
This just makes us look really bad. I hope you know
I
that.
also
It's
love
like
my-
everyone's like,
I think we're gonna end the stream right now.
All right,
Oh.
let me shamelessly self.
Was, ich
Subscribe to my
spreche
channel.
Deutsch?
I want 30 people. Come on. Let me.
well, there's something
shamelessly
else I was going to mention about Robo.
Hey, everybody, go subscribe to Comrade. He has been working really hard to get some subscribers, and YouTube is determined to not let him have any.
I'm
Same
hustling
thing
it.
with everybody who's been on this stream. Go check out Abel Garcia and Therapy Range first and foremost. Thank you guys for being the main guests of the stream. Cameron and United States Enclave and Comrade, thank you guys for joining in.
No problem.
And stay armed and stay safe, everybody. And I will see you all later.
Keep your rifle
Okay.
by your side.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Bye bye. Kisses.